Hello and welcome to Magic Mythal Tomb of Annihilation, our 5th edition D&D campaign, episode number 54. We live stream nearly every Sunday starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time here on Twitch, and you can catch up as well on YouTube. My name is Corey, or Pinwarp2. I'm the DM, and my players are Andre, who's playing Aelin, the Aesmar Monk, Liz, who's playing Archie, Aesmar Wizard, Brad, who's playing Quillen, Aarakocra Paladin, Ryan, who's playing Blackwind, Half-Orc Ranger, John, who's playing Jonah, Gnome Artificer, and Sean playing Donaquin, Tortle Druid. And we are in Golden Throne. And stuff just went down. Last session, party had just arrived at Golden Throne. They were waiting to meet the Merchant Prince Xanthi, who they had an appointment with, to discuss things and things. When suddenly there was an attack, and there's a lot of feedback coming through for somebody. I don't know who's got me on speaker that's going through their mic. At least for me it is. Anyone else hearing that? Is it just me?
I'm not hearing anything.
I heard it a little bit.
Like clacking?
No, I don't know. It was just I could hear my own voice for a while, feeding back into my own ears.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, me too. I hate my voice.
Like talking over somebody, they keep interrupting you.
Yeah. Now I know what you guys feel like listening to me all the time. Anyways, so there was an attack, and it was evil shadow beasts and monsters. It attacked the campus, if you will, of Golden Throne. All sorts of mayhem and chaos, led by, seemingly, or at least accompanied by, your good friend Zandala, who you'd last seen fleeing from the Temple of Ubtao after unsuccessfully trying to take the Ring of Winter from Artis Kimber in the throne room of the Temple of Ubtao. You haven't seen her since, but here she was with some sort of fancy new headpiece, and some new allies that you weren't aware she was associated with up to this point, I don't believe. Or no, you didn't know. You heard from Masika that perhaps she had gone to them, right? I think you had learned that previously.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
It was confirmed.
Yeah. So, but here she was shouting for Artis Kimber, seemingly unaware of the party's presence in Golden Throne, until Aelin decided to call her a stupid girl because Artis Kimber couldn't possibly be here at Golden Throne. And then it began snowing outside, and shit hit the fan, and shadow beasts and other creatures attacked, and there was lots of fighting and mayhem. Lots of people died. But ultimately, you defeated the Shadow Beasts, as well as Summerwise, her pseudo-dragon, transformed into some sort of large Shadow Drake. You killed them? I don't know. And then, as you chased down Zandala, she unsuccessfully once again tried to take the ring from Artis by fireballing him and stuff. She managed to down Quillen after he tried to grapple her out into the hallway. She misty stepped and fireballed him, and then fireballed him again as she jumped out the window. But seeing the tide has turned, unsuccessful in her attempt because of you guys' heroic actions, she attempted to fly away. But the party wasn't having none of that, and they pulled out every single possible thing they could think of to try to stop her from escaping. Unsuccessfully trying to knock her out of the air, although I was really scared when Quillen crit her with that first spear. But rolled so badly on damage it didn't matter. And then Donaquin attempted to chase her down and lightning bolt her out of the sky, but unfortunately was too close and got counterspelled. And then Archie decided, I'm going to haste myself, stunning Quillen in the process, and popped her wings, ran outside with her triple move, raced after her, at which point Zandala decided, no, I'm not having any of this. I'm going to use my not last, she had some first level slots left, but one of her very last spell slots, upcasted a fireball into Archie in midair, blowing her up into a crashing crater meteor into the ground. Her crumpled dead body splayed across the floor like like a burst pinata, and
Not
everybody.
funny, Corey.
What?
She's a shooting star.
um, yeah, and there was some drama and moments of fear and frustration as Zendala escaped over the northern wall of the city. But luckily, Dragonbait was right there, witnessed the whole thing, as with Artist Kimber as well, and Dragonbait used his sword to cast Revivify. Unfortunately, it destroyed the weapon and cost him his life to do so, and brought her back from the brink of death, right before her soul could be devoured, like so many others you've seen. Meanwhile,
whisked away.
Blackwind was slaughtering librarians. No, he was slaughtering a bunch of dark, weird guys who were throwing
Bookers.
books, similar to how they did back in the college, the magic. No, what was it called? The mage college back in Mesro. God, I can't get my names right. They were throwing a bunch of books into a small black void. Not sure if they were transporting them somewhere or just annihilating them. You're not really sure. But either way, Blackman wasn't having none of that. Stink bombed the whole room, and then methodically walked around and killed all of them except for one, who he smacked in the head and knocked out. Just in time to come back outside to see Archie, everybody in like a shocked state as he dragged this unconscious guy out by his foot.
Who died?
What's everyone so upset about? What's happening?
Blackwood just comes out.
Didn't we win?
I lost.
10 points. 10 points.
Yeah, let's go.
Relatively in good health. I only lost 10 hit points.
Look, Jonah, I didn't kill this one. You guys kind of gathered yourself a bit, and made your way back into the building. The attack seemingly over. Guards and others running about, trying to assess the damage and all that. Seemingly not just the building you were in, but other buildings around were damaged as well. But as you kind of recovered a little bit, you were brought the guard captain that you saved earlier. Brought you back up to see Xanthi, who had retreated to a different room, and you guys went up there to find Xanthi, as well as two others, merchant princes, who are apparently at Golden Throne during this attack. You don't know if there was others as well, but these three. Only one of which you've ever actually met in person before. Xanthi is a old Chultan woman. She is probably in her early 70s, you would gauge, given the amount of gray and white in her hair and the wrinkles on her face. Definitely a distinguished... I'm hearing my voice again. A distinguished elderly woman in fine robes, plenty of jewels and bangles and jewelry on. And the other two, Coyote, one of the other merchant princes who you met early on in your career as gladiators, upon defeating the gladiatorial games and being crowned the champions. She was the one that put up the reward, so you got a personal audience with her when you first arrived in the city. I believe she did try to hire you for a job to kill somebody for her, and you guys refused that job, and that's the last you've ever had any contact or dealings with her, I believe. I don't think you've seen... No, I think that's last time you had it. Yeah, she's there, as well as a third man, or a third merchant prince, Ifan, who you guys are well aware at this point is the leader and perhaps not the only living member of the 12, but well, maybe the Blood King kind of seems to be doing his own thing now, according to the last evidence you found. But he's in there as well. He's an older Chultan man as well, and he is not quite as old as Xanthi, but he's probably in his late 50s, you would probably gauge. Chin strap, white, close cropped beard, kind of a conical hat on his, not a conical hat, like a cylindrical flat-topped hat on his head, and he's in fine robes as well. He has an entourage with him. I mean, they all do. Xanthi has the guard captain, as well as several other guards in the room with her. Coyote is flanked by several tough-looking guard types, and Ifan has about a half dozen guards, two of which you recognize. One is the large Goliath man, Roka. You've encountered him a few times in the city, actually, and you know that he works for the Zentarum, as well as a small gnomish red-haired gnome, woman, who you know as Jamna Gleamsilver, the kind of ambassador or liaison, if you will, in the city for the Zentarum, and then some other mercenary-looking types that you don't recognize. So they're all in the city, or they're all in this room, rather large kind of a sitting room when you guys are brought in. I did mention this last time, but I feel like the dude that you're dragging around by the feet, at some they wouldn't be like, hey, let's. I think we said that you handed him over to the guards to like at least keep under lock and key until you could get some information when he wakes up. So you're not dragging this unconscious guy into the merchant prince meeting.
Just by his scruff.
Yeah. So
Although I would be considering dragging the Cyto dragon around. How big are those things, by the way?
oh, they're like the size of a large cat. Little.
Perfect. I'm gonna get it stuffed.
Did
I
it
wanna
go back
disturb her.
to it being a pseudo dragon?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it did. Oh, I missed
upon
that.
death, he transformed to a little guy again. And yeah, you guys are all bruised, beaten, on the brink of death. Archie is literally on the brink of death, having her max hit points reduced. She's got 16 max hit points right now and 12 wounds. Because she's horribly disfigured on her right arm.
My right arm is just like we said last time. It's like Thanos after after the snap. Yeah.
You're in a state.
Just like
Yeah.
severe. Yeah, well, I view it more as like probably severe burns from the fireball combined with landing on it.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was. Just burns.
Burn wounds don't bleed usually.
I picture myself being piggybacked by my brother, and I'm just kind of like, but still breathing.
Yeah. Actually, you guys, there's not a lot of. I think you guys are pretty tapped at this point. Actually, I think most of you use a lot of your spells. But yeah. So here you are now. When you one other thing, Artis, before you went into this meeting room, you had a conversation with him out in the hallway, and he decided to move on, in the hopes that if there were more of these creatures, or perhaps Zendala comes back, or anything else, that they would be obviously coming there for him. So he didn't want to put you in any further danger, and left. But he did tell you this time where exactly he's going, I believe. Did I tell you?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep. Obanashi tribe.
Yeah, he's gonna go hunt down not hunt down, but hunt down as in find
genocide.
them, not hunt them down. Yeah. Going in to find the Obanashi tribe, so he's heading off into the mountains to the northwest or west, where you know that the village of Tamalka lies. So he's off that direction. And so it's just you guys and these merchant princes. When you came in, the merchant princes were seemingly in the middle of not an argument, but a discussion. Coyote was kind of scolding or dressing down Ifan a little bit, about how his mercenaries aren't doing the job well enough, etc. If there's an attack on Golden Throne. But yeah, when you guys are led in, they kind of cease that kind of talk, and Coyote kind of yields the floor, if you will, to Xanthi, and Xanthi kind of nods to you all, and she says, "Ah, good, you're here. Yes, come in. I won't keep you long. I'll allow you to take care of those wounds and get some rest. But I wanted to speak with you, especially in light of recent events." And she kind of gestures to like some seating arrangements around the room. She said, "Please sit." And there is some basic refreshments out, just like pitchers of water and stuff, but nothing elaborate.
I take a seat.
Yes. I will take a seat as well.
Yeah.
The other, like, Coyote just kind of like nods towards you, like in greeting, but doesn't say anything. Ifan will kind of like take a step forward and gives like a, not a deep bow, but a fairly formal bow, and he nods toward you. He's like, "Ah, so these are the infamous Blade Fangs. I am to understand that we are in your debt for helping the defense of Golden Throne. In fact, I hear tell that you are directly responsible for Xanthi here coming out of it with no harm to her. You have my thanks and my gratitude."
Well, we're in neighborhood. This will happen. We were just coming.
As
Yeah,
the insight checks come out.
We're just glad that that like Quillen would have
Was he
responded
grateful?
immediately, but Brad was like, "Ah, shit, I gotta click through menus." Yeah, I'm glad that we were here. I mean, yeah, those were some dangerous, creatures, but we're happy to do what we can to keep Xanthi safe.
And he nods. And he, Quillen, you got a pretty good read on him. You think he seems genuinely grateful. He seems to be pleased with what you've done. You don't really get any like malevolent vibes off of him, at least not in this instance. I would also note that during this interaction, Quillen and Aelin, both of you, will also, actually, and Donaquin as well, you will notice that the gnome, Jamna, in the background, she's kind of like just back behind the other Zentarum that are there, just kind of like leaning against the back wall. She's got like a nail file out, and she's kind of not filing her nails, but she is definitely kind of eyeing you all with a mix of curiosity and Quillen, just especially, you would catch this from her. She seems to be she's got a look like a mix of like surprise and like not admiration, but maybe like respect, as she's looking over your group. The others in Tarim are just kind of like obviously doing their best not seem like they're listening at all. They're just kind of like doing their whole like, we're bodyguards, including the Goliath, who's just kind of like standing with his arms crossed, not really looking at anything, just kind of like got like a kind of almost a bored look on his face. And the guard captain who's there beside Xanthi, the guy that you fought beside and saved in the throne room, he kind of nods and he says, "Well, you definitely saved at least some lives today. I'm sure it would have gone a lot worse had you not been there. By my initial reports, although they are still coming in, it looks like we lost about 24 men in the attack and another dozen or so civilians, but some are unaccounted for as of yet.
Yeah, I wish we'd been able to do more.
And Xanthi kind of nods and she's like, yes, you definitely have our thanks. And Ethan kind of smiles and says, well, if you are looking to do more, we are certainly looking to at least replace and expand upon some of the mercenary operations in the city to shore up the city guard. And Coyote kind of like puts up a hand and she's like, we'll discuss that at a later time, Ethan. I think for now we should leave Xanthi to her to conduct her own meeting here. She kind of like nods back to you and she says, kind of like pauses for a moment, kind of like just regards you all, particularly looks at Donaquin, kind of like takes like a long kind of like considering look over, and then she says, yes. Well, I'm going to try to find and ensure that our compatriots Akene and Jobal were not injured in the attack. I've already spoken with Wakanga. He was not at Golden Throne, and he is perfectly fine. And he kind of nods, kind of gives a brief glance at Xanthi, says nothing to her, and turns and walks out the door. Ethan kind of like glances at her as she's leaving, and seems almost most of you could probably just pick up on this regardless. He seems a little like he kind of like narrows his eyes at her back as she walks out, but he also is kind of like fidgety, like he's like a little like uncomfortable or nervous. And then he turns, he's like, yes, well, of course. We will leave you to it, Xanthi. You have my thanks again, my friends, and please, if there's anything that the Talroa house can do for you, don't hesitate to ask. You've earned favor with me this day. Not something that most outsiders can say. And Xanthi kind of nods. He's like, thank you so much, Ethan. And he
It was very nice to make your acquaintance.
It's like, he nods. He's like, yes, you as well. And he kind of just gives like a little like hand signal, and all the Zentarum kind of like straighten up and just kind of like flank him on either side and walk out the room. Jamna kind of pauses. She's the last one out. She kind of pauses and glances over her shoulder, and then just kind of like winks at you, Archie, and then walks out the door. And
we're best friends.
Best friends.
I mean,
we had a conversation one time. So I mean,
and
I
we
think so.
know her. We know her previous ward's daughter.
What?
Jamna was Scaxius's mentor.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's neat.
But we don't know.
Little Easter egg for players who are paying attention to the obscure NPCs from 4 years ago.
the shadowy NPCs behind Scaxius that we never really...
Ignore that D6.
I do my best to throw in little nuggets of continuity. What can you say? Anyways.
Cool.
Yeah, so leaving you, Xanthi, the guard captain, and just 2 other guards who just kind of go over to the door and just kind of like stand. There's two exits to this room. One that the merchant prince has just left out of, the other one that you guys came in, so that led to different areas. They kind of stand one at each door, but they kind of like go outside and then like close the door, so you guys are alone just with her and the guard captain. Xanthi kind of turns and he's like, and she's like, to the captain, and he's like, or she is like, I can't remember this guy's name. Just give me one sec.
But we fought so valiantly side by side.
Yeah, it turns. She's like,
I gave him my health potion.
You did.
yeah, and he's looking better than you last saw him, so he probably drank that.
Let's be fair. He's looking better than I am.
Yeah. She says, Captain Mythal, you can also wait out. I'll be perfectly fine with these visitors here. And he kind of like looks at you, looks at her, nods. He's like, yes, absolutely, ma'am. I will. I'll be just out in the study outside. And he kind of leaves through the same door the merchant princess did, and kind of shuts it behind him as well. Leaving you alone with Xanthi. Perfect time for an assassination.
Wait, is it literally only her, or are there other normal?
Just her and you guys.
Okay.
Which is.
I'm gonna. To Xanthi, I'll just say, first of all, it's a real honor to meet you. Second of all, do you mind if I just? And I'm just gonna kind of motion to around the room, look around, as in implying. Just do a sweep of the room to make sure that we are definitely alone.
She nods. She's like, "Oh, absolutely. If it'll make you feel more comfortable."
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk around, just check out everything. Like, if there's windows, see if there's that kind of thing. I want to make sure that
there's only two ways into this room, which is the two doors. There's no windows here. This room is in kind of like the middle of the building.
Okay.
So there's no skylights or anything. There's no windows in here. So just the two doors on either side, the one that you came in and the one that the merchant princess left in.
If that's the case, then I probably wouldn't.
Are you looking for like secret viewing?
Maybe or listening.
Make a perception check.
Like peepholes.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you kind of make the room's pretty large, but not like overwhelmingly big. It's not. So it'd probably take you just a moment to kind of like walk around the room and just kind of like check the doors, check the walls, but there doesn't seem to be any hidden things or anything, but unless you took a thorough shirt, sort of like pushing on the walls and everything.
I'm not gonna get down on my hands and knees or anything and like do anything. Just peace of mind. Just okay. All right. I think we can chat freely here. Yeah.
Did who set up the meeting? This is Liz asking. Was it
Clevin?
Clevin.
It was Clevin. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did Clevin give you any indication as to what news we bring?
She nods. She's like, he did indeed provide some information. However, I would, if you don't mind, like to hear from you directly, so it's to ensure nothing has been lost in translation in the telling.
Mm-hmm. Then we will do that. I would probably start by giving her the letter. Now, we determine that all of our stuff doesn't get destroyed in combat. Is that correct?
Yeah, unless you die, then all your stuff is destroyed utterly. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because it would have been, tucked in the waterproof satchel, so it might have been a little tougher of a bag.
Yeah, Fireball doesn't. I mean, it destroys things, but it doesn't.
Not
it doesn't
Warner
destroy
carried,
Warner
right?
carried. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You're not running around naked.
Yeah.
just I mean, my clothes are pretty fucked up right now, but okay, yeah. Then I would probably start by handing her the letter that we found, and then kind of let her read it, then explaining the situation surrounding it,
Okay.
how we came by it, etc., etc.
She reads it carefully.
Nice. Even pausing while she reads it. Well done, Corey.
Yeah, she's reading.
A long
reading
letter.
away.
Nice.
1 hour later. Oh, right.
Sorry, I fell asleep. What?
What were you here for?
Yeah, she kind of glances up, and nods, and she's like, "Well, I'd like to say that I am surprised, but Ifan always was an ambitious one. Doesn't surprise me at all that he has contacts with the underbelly of the city, and his hands in those kind of operations. This Blood King, Zukas, seems to be perhaps, what's the word, straining at the leash, as it were?
It seems so. It seems
Sounds
like
he
the
is the brains behind it.
well, it seems like this that we came across outside of the city in the recent undead attacks. He's taking credit for. It seems to be him. Not splitting out.
Carving his own path.
Yeah.
She nods. She's like, well,
can't be good for anybody.
It is distressing. I will share something else that must not leave this room. She kind of like glances around, waiting for confirmation that you guys are okay with that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Archie pulls out a notebook.
I put down my recording stone. Don't mind this, it's just a stone.
Pay no attention to the stone on the table.
It's not a recording device.
Hang on, could you repeat that closer to the stone?
It's not a recording device. Whoops.
Hold on, I just need to get some room noise real quick. Hold on. Okay. And speed.
And she kind of nods and she says, I will let you know that, as you may have seen in the city, with all the refugees and coming in, and all the recent troubles, we're finding more people are succumbing to what is commonly known as the death curse. Unfortunately, one of our own on the Golden Council is afflicted with this malady. Jessamine has apparently taken quite ill and has recused herself in her villa. Her daughter, Imezra, has been a point of contact. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised, given the pace that this disease seems to take when once symptoms begin showing. I would be surprised if she lives more than a 10-day or so at the most. From what we know, that once the I don't know how familiar you are with the malady, but once the bleeding and the dark veins start appearing, it often progresses rapidly. Some matter of hours, others days, but ultimately, no one that we know of in the city has lasted more than about 2 weeks between the onslaught of symptoms. And we don't know exactly when she started showing symptoms, but our understanding is it's been 3 or 4 days now at least.
So once you start bleeding through your skin, you're probably a goner.
She's like, that said, we certainly, we have several threats to the city, all of which, at some point or another, need to be addressed. I will, of course, be petitioning for an official sanction to be put out. and a general bounty on this Zandala who attacked Golden Throne. She is to be considered public enemy number 1 at the moment, given her heinous actions today. But outside of that,
You know about the guys in the library from the cult, right? Like, they were in cahoots.
she
They're
kind
what?
of shakes her head. She's like, "No, I wasn't aware of.
Oh.
What is
Well,
this?"
I captured one, and there's like 5 are dead. They were throwing books into a black void.
They're from House Karanok. We've
Karanok.
encountered them before.
She
Um,
kind of thinks for a few moments. She's like, "Karanok."
And they were based in Mythil.
well, I can
Right.
fill her in on where Karanok comes from. I rolled high enough history.
Yeah, they
initially
weren't
on that.
based in Mesro. They were just
Well, they had a
there
big
Yeah,
investigating and destroying information.
Destroying.
And they
yeah.
may have taken out the burning fist there as well,
as well.
perhaps.
And this
Unfortunately, I
and
mean,
this
Grant-
Sandala is a member of this house.
It seems that they've
I mean,
partnered up.
they're
Yeah.
it's a mutual, I guess, arrangement. She wanted artists, and
So do they.
yeah, so mutual goal.
She kind of chuckles a little bit. She's like, huh, "Artist does bring trouble with him everywhere he goes, doesn't he? Curious man. I knew him when I was younger, for a brief time." Anyway, she shakes her head. She's like, "I don't imagine he's still around."
He, I think he made to leave for the city, I reckon.
Well, it's probably best that if this House Karanok is hunting him and this Sandala, that probably is best that he's left.
Mm.
Anyways,
Oh, I would fill her in on that Zendala bought out all the maps from Tuttletome to the mountains, so that she may be heading that way.
She's like, "Well,"
If she's putting out a sanction or whatever on her, it may be helpful.
she nods. She's like, I will see if Jobal has any in his personal collection that may be of use to you. He often keeps things like that, originals, older maps, valuable maps. So I'll petition him to see on your behalf if I can acquire anything, if that will be helpful to you."
That would be excellent.
She nods.
Any maps that he has. I mean, any at all. Not even just like pertaining to this, but just like any at all.
Archie's a big map head.
She nods. She's like, "Well, let's try to stay focused, shall we?"
Right, of course.
And then she kind of turns.
yeah.
She's like, "Well,
Quite
outside of
focused,
this,
babe.
I think the greatest threat to the city at the moment is this Blood King and Ifan. I'm sure that Akane will back me in removing Ifan as a threat. That will take some time. I believe Zindar has already begun operations. His last report anyways, tells me that he and Clevin were arranging to try to shadow some of these figures outlined in this what was that thing you found? Ledger?
It was a the book itself was like a spell book with crazy stuff in it, like crazy dark stuff. But it was just a letter tucked inside.
Yeah.
That
No,
we gave
I'm
her.
talking all the evidence against Telro is all in there as well in the ledger.
Right, that's all in the letter and in the
Yeah.
the back half of the ledger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So-
all of the dealings with the dudes.
Yeah.
Which-
So she says that she'll work with once these crimes come to light, she's sure that Wukanga and Akane will both be on board. Jessamine as well, should she still be in a position to have an opinion. She's not sure about Jobal and Coyote. They're well, Jobal in particular is fairly good friends with Ifan, but anyway, she shakes her head. She's like, I won't bore you with the politics of it all, but
Coyote, she seemed like, she's, kind of tired of Ifan at this point. Seems like she seems like the kind of person that, as long as, what you're bringing to the table is working, then she's happy. Granted, this is all based on what I've heard since I've been here and this little interaction that we just had. So if his mercenaries and everything were doing the job and keeping everyone safe, she'd probably be on board of saying, let's look the other way. But now that he's kind of fucked up and this attack happened, it's like, well, clearly he's not doing good enough, and he's this, crime lord or whatever. Yeah, she might be more on board.
I
wonder if he knows what he's got himself into 100%. From that one letter, the number 2 sounds like the real manufacturer of the plan.
Yeah, Xanthi kind of nods. She's like, it's a good question. Ifan is no fool. You don't become a merchant prince by taking foolish chances, but Ifan was never one to shy away from, shall we say, unorthodox opportunities. I believe you may be right. He may not know the full extent of the creatures he's allied himself with. The Yanti, this Blood King, others, who knows. But it is no secret, well, perhaps it is amongst your circles, but it's no secret amongst the council that Ethan, as of late, has been having some financial difficulties. He did foot a large portion of the bill to hire the mercenaries to shore up our security in the city, and when, well, that hasn't really borne fruit, especially with the pirate attacks and the loss of a rather large contingent that was supposed to arrive. It's definitely not been good for him politically or financially. So,
what would he stand to gain from, let's say his plan did work and the Zentarum became the majority force of the guard here? I mean, maybe this, political and monetary setback is part of the plan, or is irrelevant if he gets what he wants.
She kind of nods. She's like, well, my best guess that he's making a play for expanding his sphere of influence into areas that typically Akane has been the primary factor. So perhaps if he can get a majority or a significant enough power base in the city that he could make a play for her businesses. And one of the things she, outside of the gladiatorial games, the security of the city is Akane's primary function on the council. If Ethan can move in on that, well, it just gives him that much more power. Ultimately, what his goal is, to line his own pockets, increase his own power. He's a greedy, ambitious man. Always has been.
I wonder if I didn't even think about it, but he's the leader of the 12. I wonder if that's what the pendant was for. That we stopped them
That
putting
we never
together.
put together. Yeah.
Well, but we did do a basic identify on it, and it was basically to mind control the wearer, right?
Yeah.
It was attuned to somebody else, but when somebody assembled it and put it on, that would give them the ability to mind control them, or at least see through their eyes or something, or influence them.
Or influence them at the very least.
Influence them. Yeah, so I wonder if that was one of the reasons he was trying to get his hands on it, was to
Or, I mean,
influence
even
one of the
curses
other
can be placed upon people through
one of the
objects.
council. So she's like, we still have it, by the way.
It's too dangerous. It's a bomb.
The only time we think
Well-
about this thing is when we're in the city. God damn it!
I know. Well, yeah, like Archie doesn't have much of a filter right now, so she feels like she's interested in, you know. So
I'm just gonna
she's,
put it together.
well, no, but she's, you know, she's just like,
I've
we
got 4 hit
have
points.
it.
I'll be fine.
We haven't really known what to do with it because we didn't want to attune to it and tip off whoever was already attuned to it, and we didn't want to put it together in case it could be
We
bad.
didn't have
but
the whole picture of how it
Yeah.
operated.
I
because
feel
we
like
didn't have-
at this point, whoever wanted this probably knows that they're not getting it
sure,
because it's been like 3 months.
yeah.
It's like, new snake. Who dis?
But yeah, I mean, it would be easy to get into like Jessamine's daughter's hands or something. She loves snake stuff.
I mean, if we had the ability to spy on the person that is attuned with it, because like how those hags drop items into our packs, so they
Yeah.
could spy on us easier.
Yeah, it was like last time we thought about the pendant, we didn't know who the leader was, so now it sort of makes a little more sense. If he got his hands on it, he could have potentially directly influenced one of the other members of the council to do what he wanted.
Xanthi would probably say at that point, well, if you believe the intended target was Jessamine or her daughter, perhaps he was. I mean, it could be a completely separate play to garner influence over that market as well. I mean, if Ifan could, you know, under
think
the
it was
radar
directly-
influence the placing of sanctions within the city, he could use that to all sorts of nefarious ends to increase his own power base, eliminate rivals.
It was
Yeah.
in 3 pieces and smuggled into the city, so if it
Yeah.
was assembled before, like it was recognizable thing,
I mean-
it probably would have linked directly to the Yon team or obvious.
Yeah, but also, I mean, if you're a merchant prince and you need to get something in a city, why would smuggling it in be the... Like, you could just bring it into the city. Who's going to stop you?
If they probably didn't bring it in themselves though, like somebody
Right,
else
but
probably would've.
why not? He could if he wanted to, he easily could have and made sure that it got in safely.
Well, but that, I guess
I don't know
it's...
what a merchant prince does, but I don't imagine they do mundane things too much.
Well, because we know, like, what the dude who had one of the pieces on the necklace, Viplo or whatever, he was supposed to hand it over to the boss, but he didn't because he was corrupted or whatever, and he was keeping it for... He ended up keeping it. Like, he was supposed to hand it over. So I imagine those separate pieces were coming from places, and they were bringing them into him. Like, it was...
Right,
That's-
but my point is, if
I
he
don't
was
know.
doing it, why wouldn't he do it himself to make sure it happened, as opposed to trusting some smugglers to secret it in through tunnels?
I'm
Maybe
guessing
somebody
just
would
probably 'cause
recognize it.
he didn't have access to it, and when it got in, it got in. But
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
it
his
could be
his
many
domain
things.
is outside of the city walls. It would have been easy to have it sent there instead.
But at the same time, he's also the guy that could smuggle things in really easy. Like,
Not, yeah.
I'm saying he wouldn't
best.
need to. He could literally just bring it in. Who's going to stop him?
I just having a merchant prince randomly bring an object in personally.
Well,
Is that normal?
Xanthi would probably say that it's possible that he just didn't want anything to link him to it at all, particularly if it came to light what it was used for. Wakanga does have sole domain over magical artifacts entering and leaving the city. It would have gone past at least through his people's hands, and if it was identified at the time and it was linked directly to Ifan, that could end badly for Ifan. So perhaps he was just trying to avoid any association with it.
Avoid that. Especially,
or,
yeah,
or
'cause-
perhaps get it into the city without Wakanga's noticing.
Especially if it looked Yanti in nature, especially together.
He nods. And he would even she would say that Ikane's security efforts in the city for a long time have been centered around ensuring that outside influences like the Yuan-Ti don't get a foothold in the city. So an obviously Yuan-Ti artifact, particularly a magic one, could raise alarm bells if it went through quote-unquote the proper channels.
So me carrying it around, maybe not the best idea.
I mean, yeah, we've been coming and going
It's in your
for
bag.
yeah.
We've
Like,
been
if
flashing
it
this
was
thing at
that
everybody.
easy,
Don't
Yeah.
search that pocket.
Um,
You know, all your bad luck started when you started carrying it.
It's
see, he's
true.
not doing a great job of finding these artifacts.
Xanthi, if I could ask, if we, or at least, a couple of us, needed, like, extremely secure, safe shelter for a time in the city, where would you recommend?
She's like, well, I would say, well, there's a few different options. I guess it depends on whether you wanted a secret location or a more public one. I would say that the most secure place in the city would be either in one of our villas, owned by the merchant princes. We all have pretty high security. Until today, Golden Throne would have been considered more of a secure location. The fort would be the most secure. That's where any of our, facilities, jails, etc. would be beneath the fort. So all of those are options outside of the normal taverns and such. And of course, on the more secretive side, outside of what Poe might be able to provide outside the city, within the gates, we do have several safe houses that are known throughout the Utepka.
Well,
I'm starting to feel like the jungle's safer now, even though the jungle tried to kill us a couple times.
I mainly ask because I gesture over to Archie. Like, I'm sure you've noticed. Our friend has had quite the harrowing day. And I think that we are more than likely going to need to take it easy for a little while. But I also think it's likely that we might have a bit of a target on our backs at the moment. And
I don't know. I think
We've had that since
I
we
mean, I
got
think she
here.
fled pretty. I think she's gone.
I'm not just talking about her.
Yeah, I mean,
We
we've
had
also been
the,
attacked by Sekala worshippers.
Sekla, yeah.
And who knows if
They're attacking everybody.
I don't know if Ifan or the Blood King or whoever is potentially putting pieces together, and I don't know. Point being, I feel like being out in the open and just at the Thundering Lizard might not be the safest option for you while you recover.
Well,
They tried it once there before, ended
Yeah.
badly for them.
That's a good point. I mean, Quillen wasn't there for that, but yeah, you've been attacked by the 12 forces of the 12 at the Thundering Lizard before. They're not shy of attacking there if need be. Then again, Favian is now dead, so maybe that was just all on him. But
So I guess, yeah, my point being, like, is there any possible assistance that could be provided in that space?
She nods and she says that certainly she can arrange for one of the safe houses in the city. You can bunker down there for a little while to recover. She would suggest that visiting one of the temples if you were severely hurt, particularly the Temple of Sune, would be wise before heading in.
that is next on the list. Or first on the list after
Um,
here.
but Xanthi, there's a rap on the door. And Xanthi kind of glances up and she's like, "Yes." And the door kind of opens part way. The guard captain, kind of pokes his head in, and he's like, "Apologies for the interruption. Akane is asking to hold an emergency security meeting. All the merchant princes are being summoned. Are you able to attend? It should be." And then he kind of just pauses, and she nods. She's like, "Yes, of course. See if you can delay them for, half hour or so." And he nods. She's like, "Yes, ma'am." He closes the door. She's like, "Well, I have other business. I must attend this council. I can't imagine what Quixote and Akane will have to say. She's probably throwing a fit, Akane that is, as we speak, about this. I'll try to maneuver as best I can on that side. I would ask this of you, and I know that you've done a lot for us, and frankly, I would ask you to do even more, assuming you're still willing and resolute in our purpose. I will handle over the shortest period of time I can muster, Ifan and his operation in the city. My concern and what I would charge you with would be taking care of this Blood King to eliminate him from the equation. Then, with Ifan eliminated, the 12 we could say is handled in the city. I know you must have other business, this House Karanok, other things, but for our purposes, securing the city and eliminating Ifan and the 12 is of utmost priority to ease the transition of power once, and of course your ultimate mission, to find the chalice, but that may be a while off yet. This seems more immediate concern. Whatever this thing is, this cyst, if there's more where it came from, I can't imagine that this little operation you put down in the recent days will be their last attempt at gaining a foothold in the city.
Yeah, as far as we know, he's in Tomoa-chan, and I believe our journey was taking us down towards Oralunga, so it's very close. So I can't see why it would be a problem. Do you have anything that could assist us in this task?
Small army. No.
A small army.
No, just in general, just like I don't know.
As Archie's bleeding on.
As Archie, I'm like crispy. I was like, I don't know, spell scrolls, healing, anything.
Have you been tanning?
Yeah, she nods and she says, "I will. If you put together a list of what supplies and other things you believe would aid you most in this task, I will see what I can do to assist in this endeavor. Think on exactly what you think would be most helpful to you. I'm no adventurer. I don't know what you might face or what tools you may require. You all have your various abilities, but I can certainly do my best to assist. But in the meantime, get some rest and finish whatever business you have in the city. When you're ready to go, check back with the guard captain. He will have and provide that to him. It may take him some time, so the sooner you can get that to him, the better.
Well, the guard captain has a prisoner that I captured too, if they'll talk as well.
She nods. She's like, I'll leave that to him to interrogate this prisoner. If you'd like to do this yourself, let him know. I'm sure he'd be fine with.
I think there's probably better skilled people for interrogating than me. I tend to not ask nicely.
What is the guard captain's name?
The guard captain is Jerim Othal.
Jeremy? Jerem?
Jerim.
To be honest, the prisoners seemed a little, I don't know, like they were on the Kool-Aid drink program.
She nods. She's like, I don't have much knowledge of this house Karanok. It's not a known
Drinks.
element within the city that we've had dealings with in the past that I'm aware of. But
Well, they have
if
powerful
there's-
magic. I can tell you that because they basically obliterated the leg of one of our, like, vaporized, like it was gone, just nothing. It ripped of our guide who narrowly escaped with her life. It just vaporizes. It takes something and it's gone.
She nods. She's like,
They
when I'm at the security meeting, I'll bring it up with Wakanga and see if he can look into anything about House Karanok or their magics. Perhaps there's something that he may know, or someone he may know, or something he can tell us. So I will ensure that he gets this information as well. And then, but she stands. She's like, but I won't leave the others of the council waiting. Please take care of yourselves. Thank you again for everything you've done here.
Of course, thank you for what you're doing.
feel great.
And she kind of like gives a nod, like you're free to go now, kind of thing.
And we nod back.
I give a,
Insight check. Fail. No.
I give a deep nod and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if there's anything else you need, just let us know. Archie says as she limps out.
I can't, like... Remind me again, who's the hunter of this group? Looking at you.
I think at some point I probably would have given Archie the rain stick just to have like a walking stick.
Yeah, like I'm not using my right arm at all. It's just
Yeah.
it's just limp.
You're doing that
Like-
thing where you're just kind of like holding it like this. Or is Archie right or left-handed?
She's right-handed.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That'll do wonders for your map making until you get that fixed. Eh?
She's ambidextrous.
There you go. You'll be okay. Okay, so do you guys all leave or anything else you
I
want
think
to?
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll find yourselves back out into the main hall. There are guards and people. Like the general population is, seems to be generally calmed down a bit. But there are people kind of milling about. Guards, several guards, kind of give you guys nods of respect as you're kind of making your way through. Seems word has spread of your assistance here at Golden Throne a bit. Are you guys heading out of Golden Throne now, or what are you guys doing?
We're so good at keeping a low profile, you guys.
Oh, I mean,
Best.
we need to get you to that temple, right?
Yeah, I need to go to the Temple of Tsune. I need to.
On the double. I will offer to carry you.
Oops, that was supposed to be to.
Love.
So I was supposed to be to Ryan. Yeah, that's fine. Ryan Blackman wants to stop and just collect that pseudo dragon body.
I
Sure,
pick up the pseudo dragon.
it's still there. They
Oh.
haven't cleaned it up yet, so
Just looks like a little dead cat with.
yeah, it's about the size of a cat. A little mangled, the kind of torn wings and stuff, but
That's why I said if it's not stuffable, I got that plan for it. I'll pay somebody to do it. So
yeah, it might be.
either way, it's
But yeah, you can grab it and toss it in a bag, in a sack or whatever.
I
Make a
got my
hat
gift.
out of it.
Make a hat.
Coonskin
It's my
cat.
pseudo dragon hat.
Oh, Gerald.
Yeah, Gerald's
Oh, yeah.
rocks are shattered all over the place. In the same room, in fact, didn't the dragon destroy?
Yeah.
Blew him up with the breath. Is that what happened to Gerald? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did those cultists have anything on them in particular? Like they
Um,
probably had.
You never searched them.
No, I know. I just
We should though.
I mean, looking at
People coming that way.
you didn't see any like when you were fighting them, the guy that you knocked out and the other guys that you killed that looked like him, you didn't see any like bags or weapons or anything on them. They were just kind of like in
they
these
were
like
just tossing
robes.
books.
The other guy did have like a weapon of some sort on him, but
Maybe something for casting his spell.
yeah,
Okay. I kind of thought they didn't have much. Like, they probably looked pretty, sparse in their stuff.
yeah.
That's all good. Just in case maybe they had a secret note. Bob is the leader.
I mean, yeah. Do you want to go to the library and see if their bodies are still there, or?
Nah, I think. I don't think they got much. I'm fine with it. I think we better get.
Moments passed.
The moment
Yeah.
time has passed.
Get the backup hunter to the medics.
Okay, so you make your way out
I'm
into
okay.
the out of the main building into the main grounds of Golden Throne as you guys head back towards the street. You guys said you were heading towards the Temple of Sune next.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
please.
basically, it should, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
While we're walking, I'm going to do the Oroboros ritual.
Just in the street.
Yeah, well, that's a pinprick in a minute.
Oh, that's true enough. It's not actually a major
I
thing.
potentially could poison myself for 2d6 damage. But
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, doesn't
Or
it take a
2 die 10 damage.
hit dice?
So I
to
guess it's a good thing
recharge?
we're going to the temple.
Ouroboros. How does it work?
Take 1
again?
damage, and I have to make the saving throw.
But yeah, I think it does consume hit dice to recharge.
Yeah, it takes 1 hit die per charge. But
Draw the blood. Short ritual. After the rituals, take 1 piercing damage. Yeah. So you will reduce. So roll. Just roll a hit dice first, because you lose. Yeah. Well, you'll take the 1 damage automatically, so you'll be at 10.
down to 10. Yeah.
And then roll a hit dice, just like as if you expended it, because it takes it automatically.
Oh, I could just drop them off.
Okay, yeah. Just subtract 1 then. And then, yeah, make your con save to see if you take poison damage on top.
I'll stand next to... didn't help me that time, I guess. So I'll take 2 die 10.
Is it 2 die 6?
Or, sorry,
right?
2 die 6.
Yeah. I'll let you roll it. Roll 2 die 6.
Sure. Roll my own poison.
8.
Oh,
So,
and now I'm down to 2
Yeah,
temporary hit points.
oops.
Oh.
As I give Quillen 2 temporary hit points. Okay. Alright, so...
1 charge.
So, I mean, it really doesn't... I mean, it pulls a hit die, so I guess it does kind of hurt a little bit, but you're okay. I mean, it wasn't pleasant. You took 9 damage on a hit die, so it definitely wasn't a pleasant experience as you draw your own blood with it. But it only takes like a minute, so it's very quick, and it's not like an elaborate thing. So, okay. So you guys are out in the street walking. Yeah, there's definitely a very heightened sense of security as you guys leave the Golden Throne. There is a you can see that other buildings seem to have been attacked as well, and out in the grounds as well. There's guards kind of like tending to wounded people and like moving bodies and just kind of maybe clean up, yeah, just general cleanup. But you soon find yourself walking past the Temple of Savras and away from the carnage of the Golden Throne. Is there anything you guys want, now that you're alone with no NPCs, is there anything you guys want to talk about, or just go straight to the temple? Straight to the temple it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're all in shock. I mean, I think Blackwood will lecture just a small bit because she's probably not really listening, but be like, you don't taste, I do the taste.
Yeah, well, you weren't there, so
Just saying, didn't you also go also to a completely different part? leave the group.
There were 3 people fighting her at that time. But yeah, it was beating
Alright.
up.
And I, in response to that, Colin would be like, Archie, for what it's worth, I thought it was fucking brave as
Stupid.
hell. I mean, sure, maybe it didn't, didn't turn out the way that any of us wanted, but I've got respect for it.
Thank you. I don't think I'll be doing it again. I am gonna see if I can get a hold of that spell, though. Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Maybe I won't get it.
Well, Temple Sune. You guys not? Oh, you've been here before. Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful building. A very large temple out on an island. You cross over the bridge full of wind chimes and such as you make your way to the temple. There is attendants ready to meet you. What do you do?
Help me, please.
Please, I am dying. I would like to be helped.
Please. Please, my arm. It does not work
If
properly.
in my imagination, there's like orderlies, like we're going into an ER, and if that is the case, I'll hand Archie over.
I think it's broke.
Yeah, what? Why?
I mean, it just seemed like the thing to do.
No, for no reason whatsoever, every window I had open just minimized all at once. I must have hit something. There we go. Okay.
Windows key D. That minimizes.
I didn't even touch my keyboard. It was with my mouse somehow.
There's a button on the bottom right of your monitor. It does it too.
Rocket, go away. Get out of here. Go.
He was such a sleepy puppy.
He wanted to leave. Yeah, the temple, the Sunites are in like white robes with kind of red stripe down the center, and red hoods that kind of emulate the fiery red hair of their patron, Sune. And there's also the knights there that have like that kind of a red rose on their shields, guarding. They have their own kind of like private security force, but they let you in. They are welcoming and they are willing to help you out. So,
Yes.
what are you doing? Getting healed?
All right. Yeah, so I want to do the initial 50 gold for the luster restoration, the guaranteed bringing it from a major to intermediate
Sure.
injury.
Yep. So it's auto success when you're at the temple. So they will cast it upon you, lay their hands on your arm, and you feel the kind of numbness and pain lessens pretty substantially as it becomes an intermediate wound instead of a severe.
So I can either spend so healing wise, the way it works, this is just Liz, just because she I don't know who can cast Less Restoration or
I can.
stuff. Okay, so to get from an intermediate to a minor, it's not Less Restoration anymore, right? It's 10 healing. Magical healing will do that.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
10 hit points in one go, or Lesser Restoration can get you to minor.
Or Less Restoration.
Yeah.
And then a minor is 5.
Yeah.
Magical healing. Okay.
So you could do 15 in a single go to just wipe it out.
Yeah, so Archie would probably ask just what resources everybody has, if they wanted
today.
to.
For what? For healing and all that stuff and lesser
For heal-
restoration and stuff?
Yeah, for healing or lesser restorations.
No, I got healing. I got both.
You have both.
Yeah.
Um,
Both that you can cast today or in general.
Yes.
yeah, it doesn't have to be today. Like this,
Yeah.
I could also do this tomorrow. So I have to heal my injury first before I can start getting my hit point maximum back up. Is the thing. So I can either pay 100 gold or have you guys help me through magic to
Well, I
do
understand.
it. Like I can do the 5 tomorrow for the minor. I can actually do that myself. But if I either need 10 hit points in magical healing or a lesser restoration.
Like 10 all at once or just 10 altogether?
10 all at once in one go.
All at once in one go. So probably if you have a lesser restoration, that would
I have
guarantee it.
2.
Okay.
How
Yeah,
much?
because I just need the one. Really.
Now remember, lesser restoration allows for never mind.
Certain afflictions.
We're talking the effect. We're talking the effect here, not
Right. Yeah, this is the
not the
the
threshold.
injury threshold. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
which one are you gonna do? Sean, are you casting a heal on her, or are you just gonna use a lesser restoration on her, or are you gonna try to heal her 10 in one go?
Well, healing or 10 in one go and stuff like that on stuff. To make sure that it's 10 on stuff, it would have to be higher than just the first level. Like, first level, I could get 10 in one go on stuff. There's a chance on stuff that I can't, right? On stuff like
Right.
my minimum is 4 to 12, or 4 to 11. So like it'd have to be a second or third level to have a much better chance of getting that 10, right? So
What level spell slot is lesser? 3 or 2?
2.
So you'd be better off guaranteeing it with a lesser than using the second level than because even if you upcast to level 2, what if you roll snake eyes on the dice, right?
You still can. Like I said, even if I got cast to level 3, also like 3 would be a guarantee.
So you may we may as well, if we could guarantee it with the level.
Like I say, it's almost a guarantee on stuff at the second level anyway. It's almost like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'd have to roll snake eyes.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're going to cast a level 2 anyways, you might as well lesser restoration, unless there's another cost to lesser. Because you might as well guarantee it than have a chance of failure, right? If you're going to use the second level slot anyways.
Right.
Although, you would also heal the wounds that she has at the same time, doing it the other way.
So does she need both? Or
No, it's
one
either
or the other.
So this
I have a good chance of doing with a first level. Do you want me to just try with the first level? I have 8 plus a D4 for a first level.
Yeah, because I got 8 plus 3 I have. So that's why.
And if it doesn't, then Don and Quinn can use lesser.
Yeah, John has a 75% chance.
Yeah, I mean either way that would heal my wounds, so it wouldn't get wasted.
Yeah.
Targeting Quillen too. All right, I will cast Healing Word on Archie.
Okay.
Hey.
Yay! Okay. So that brings me down to a minor. I'm really fucked up, guys.
No, you took a chance and stuff like that on stuff and pay off. That's not necessarily on stuff messing up. Like it could have worked. It could have.
Yeah.
Like I say, Donovan also wants to apologize on stuff to Archie as well on stuff because if I would have known more about the counter spell, it could have been prevented which are going down altogether. So I would like you to teach me about counterspell. So it seems like something that you would know more about of the range of that type of spell. So that type of thing does not happen to anybody again.
I can do that.
Yeah, honestly, Archie, if I had the ability that you have, I would have done it exactly the same way.
I miscalculated the distance. I knew she had the ability to cast that spell, but I got ahead of myself. And instead of keeping my distance and waiting for the opportunity, I rushed too fast and she took advantage of that.
Oh, next time.
Give
All
me a
right.
boost. I'll make sure she doesn't utter a word. I had silence the entire fight. I just couldn't get to her. Wizards don't like silence
It's true.
unless she can.
Unless she has
silence
subtle
cast.
spell.
Subtle. She is a sorcerer. I don't know what.
Potentially.
You know she has Quicken. You don't know if she has. I don't think she's used any other meta magic in your presence other than Quicken. So.
There's other meta magic?
Yeah. I mean, Quicken's one of the best ones. So.
When
Subtle's pretty good. I like subtle.
Subtle's decent.
Subtle is really good, actually.
Subtle's pretty
Yeah.
cool. You can do some cool stuff with
Yeah.
it.
Quickened and Twinned are the two like
Powerhouse.
Big ones.
OP meta magics.
The
Okay,
extended
yeah,
range
so-
isn't so good.
Yeah.
So I only need 5 more to remove this.
Yeah,
So
which you should do because otherwise it could. Remember, as long as it's lingering, it can get worse if you fail the save, right? Technically, like if you just let it go. So if you have 5 more healing from anybody in one go, which you can guarantee with a first level slot, like Sean could cure wounds you and be done. You'd be done with it, right? Or Jonah could healing word you again if he's still got a slot and be done with it. That way it'd be gone, rather than waiting overnight and having the wound sitting there still.
I can do both.
I guess that would. I feel bad that I'm using everybody's resources.
Fine. We're just saying also it's helping you, so it's not wasting and using.
We'll get those resources back tomorrow. It's fine.
There's no way the DM will wait till you're completely tapped and attack you again.
I'll do it again.
It
it's
won't be her,
fine.
it'll be somebody else. We've
Thank
already
you,
beat up the
Jonah.
Sekla, we beat
Ben.
up her. Who's next?
All right. So
Okay.
the effect of the lingering injury is now completely gone,
It's
which
gone.
means it won't get worse. You don't have to worry about that. Your threshold is still at 5.
Yes.
So if you get hit and take an injury to that arm, there's a much higher chance it'll be a severe injury at a threshold of 5. So it's up to you whether you want to do lesser restoration to reduce that. So if, for example, Donoquin casts it on you, that allows you to make an immediate save to reduce it. If you pay the temple to cast it on you, it's automatic success on that save. Because so there is a difference. So you can try with Donoquin if he wants to use the spell slot first, and if you fail the save, you could, as a backup, pay the money to make sure that it works. But
Because I could help you on up resistance on stuff for a save as well. I could
Oh.
cast resistance on you to give you more of a chance.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, if you're willing to use the second.
I'm willing to give it a try, and so like that's totally fine.
And I'll be right next to you to cheer you on as they
get the aura.
as
Here,
they help
get
you.
Get that
Yeah.
bolster.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, if you cast Lesser Restoration on her, she gets +2 and the resistance die, and it's a DC 15.
God,
It cast it on me for some reason.
I mean, she can just roll the dice herself.
Yeah, because it adds a 1d4 afterwards on something.
Okay.
Might be on
After.
target self right now.
I think it was on target self.
Do I
That's
want
easy to
it?
change.
Yeah, I'm gonna inspiration this as well.
Get advantage too? Sure.
Yeah, my comm bonus is a +1. So with Donoquin, that
Sure.
brings it to a +3, but that's still not for a DC 15.
Yeah.
Even with the D4, I
Yeah,
could really
yeah,
screw
DC
it up.
15 is not easy.
So
There you go.
Yeah, there we
Easy.
go.
Yay.
Easy peasy. Okay,
And
so
you technically don't have to use the resistance yet and stuff like that because you didn't use it. So technically, as long as it's only up to a minute anyway. Whatever.
But for the next minute,
Better make another one and
do
another.
something dangerous.
Jump out a window.
so that
Punch
that
Archie
re-
in the arm. Ow.
Oh God!
Dang.
no, please.
So Archie, your injury threshold on your right arm goes down to 4, which is
Down to
intermediate now. So if you take an injury, it won't be severe; it'll be intermediate.
Okay.
So if you want to reduce it further and get it down to minor, you need to do this 2 more times.
Yeah, but I don't have to do that now
No, you don't. No.
either.
You
I
yeah.
got 2 more level 2. I have 3 level 2 slots left.
Do you have lesser restoration?
I have, yeah,
Oh.
it's baked into my character sheet.
Okay. If I
Yes,
mean,
too,
if,
but I don't have it on me right now. I did
I like
not.
that. I like that we've gone to the Temple of Sune and then just went, hang on a minute, and then did it all ourselves.
well,
Well, I
the severe one was the most important one to
That
that's
was
why she
yeah.
paid for
It
that.
was the first one was the most important. That was like if I don't get this taken care of and I fail the con save, this could kill me all over again. Like actually get to a point of get like it was bad.
The other thing that we could consider is that, like, just doing all of this magic shit out in the open would be very much frowned upon. But we're in a more
At a healing temple.
sanctioned place to do it.
That's true. We wouldn't want to do it.
That's true.
How many more restorations do you have, Donovan?
I do not have any more awesome. For today also. Today also I've used all.
Okay.
My
How will
bill.
you? How many do you need? 2? Archie? Is that what it was? Oh.
It was 4.
No,
Well,
technically
you get the mark.
3 more to be completely normal. But
All right. I will give you 3 more lesser restorations. I will have to use the Pearl of Power for one of them.
if I can pass my con saves.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still need a
Does
con
the con
for
save
each one.
stay at 15 or does the con
It-
save
it-
go down at all?
It's always 15.
Dang
You
it.
always got +2, and I can't imagine
Well,
that
still got-
Jonathan wouldn't give you
Yeah, it's
resistance
still
is
got
a
resistance.
cantrip, so he can just do
Yeah.
it over and over.
All right, let's. Uno, come on, yay!
So there's
Well,
one.
we
So
could
now you're at
also-
3. Oh, sorry.
Hang on, before you do more, you can do a medicine check to get advantage on the save.
Oh,
That's true. If someone wants to do a medicine check beforehand, to
so
give.
Donnequig could medicine check me potentially.
Well,
Give me
Well,
Wait,
John's
no,
actual-
sorry. The medicine check
Was
is
at
for
me.
natural healing, not the magic.
Okay, so you don't do that.
So no.
So no.
Yeah,
okay.
the medicine check requires the rest that's listed
Mm.
there, and is just for that's how you get it down without magic.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so can I do? Come on. Nope.
Oh.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Resistance isn't gonna help me on that one.
Maybe you'll get a 10 on a D4. All right, so one more
So
to try to
one.
get it down to minor, because
Yeah.
you're at 3 right now.
Yeah.
Well,
50% chance. There you go.
hey.
All right.
Yay.
So your right arm injury threshold is 2, which means it's a minor injury if you hit there again, which is the same as having a 1 technically.
Yeah,
there you go.
that's
That wasn't
Thank
bad. I
you
mean, you
guys
used
so
a lot
much.
of spell slots, but you're in the city at least. Out in the wild, that could have been way more riskier because of how long it takes to get spell slots back if you can't find a rest. In the city, there's not a lot of downside.
And we never get attacked in the city, so.
Barely. What could go wrong in the city? All right. Anything else you want to do here at the temple while you guys are here? Just a reminder of temple does offer purify food and drink, cure wounds, detect poison disease, remove curse, lesser restoration, and you can spend 100 gold if you want the blessing of Sune, which gives a +1 to charisma checks and saving throws for 30 days. I don't know if anybody cares about that.
Good.
So.
What do the other blessings do? Remind me.
All
Savras
of
is the +1 to perception and investigation checks for 30 days.
Mhm.
Gond gives a +1 bonus crafting die, up to 3 times total before being used up. It lasts and substitutes for the sacrifice step.
Okay.
The Timora one is either a +1 or +2 to initiative, depending on how well you roll. Potentially, there's a chance of a -1 to initiative instead, so it's a gamble. So 25% chance of a -1, 25% chance, 50% chance of a +1, and 25% chance of a +2 to initiative checks. If you get the -1, it only costs you half price, though. They give you 50 gold back.
Nice.
That's nice enough.
So considerate.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're slow. Here's 50 gold.
And then Joaquin, the Temple of Joaquin is anytime you find gold coins, you also find old Omun
OMP.
mithril pieces.
Hmm.
I think I
I'm
might do
tempted
that
by the
one.
charisma one, but
The charisma one's really good. The perception investigation's really good.
yeah.
Initiative
No,
can be really good.
I like the crafting die if we ever get around to crafting again.
It's true.
No, I think we should all get the one to find the OMP, and then we'll all hide money around our room, and you find gold.
That
There's
sounds
OMP right
nice.
there.
Well, luckily, there's a
I
DM
know.
to step in for these kind of things. No, you can't
It's,
choose the blessing.
Oh, just hide it under your pillow every night.
When do you think that'll be ready? A day or so?
Yeah, we'll call it a day. I don't think it'd take too long.
When I get it, I'll give it to Archie.
Sure.
You now have a Cyto Dragon wand. It's not an actual wand. It's just the size of a wand.
He's gonna pay a dude to take the spine and the skull and like make a little wand out of it.
Oh, well, I could actually probably do that
I was gonna
myself.
say Jonah could potentially.
Well, I
That was
just
my
think
background.
That's the
because we
person
were
that you
busy
found.
doing stuff.
Jonah, no, you pay me.
Jonas got a
Great.
side hustle within the party.
Interested in a wand?
I love it.
Blackman
leave
pays
it
him to
there
make
and it
it, and
takes
then
it
he
by
sells
the
it to
day.
Archie.
My parents would be so proud.
Anyways, I figure maybe if you ever get inspired, you can get somebody to enchant it, or one of us.
Or shove it in Zindala's eye. I mean, what?
Oh Jesus!
I also,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that she kind of recognizes the skull, but you don't want to show her that. Maybe give it to somebody else,
That's true.
or get a protection from fire spell going.
Oh, yeah. Next time we meet her, everyone's eating a mushroom.
Yeah, we know she likes fire, so definitely might want to keep something that protects us from
Yeah.
elements.
Yeah.
No, we have
Handy.
the mushrooms, the fire shelf mushrooms, protection from fire
Spicy.
for an hour.
They're spicy.
Evidently.
That would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Here,
known
take
when we were
this.
going to our meeting. We should have.
You know, there's a pretty good chance that
Duh.
we're gonna get into a fight, and there's gonna be a
With
bunch of fire-
fireballs at the Golden Throne.
Here, everyone eat a mushroom.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jonah, you were there. Why didn't you just give them to us?
Honestly,
I'm working
I
on it. I'm working on it.
can't believe how many people Jonah murdered. It was crazy.
Yeah. Dead
Like,
bodies
really went
everywhere.
crazy.
Went
He,
in.
he was like the rabbit from Monty Python.
He went
The Holy
nuts.
Grail. Just like from
Was-
face to face, stabbing them.
It's like, oh, you're an innocent person? Well, guess what? Now you're dead. Fuck you.
Use their arm to beat someone else to death.
And
Yeah,
he was
I-
fornicating in their eye sockets afterwards.
Jesus.
It was
Ugh.
weird.
Let's kill it.
Very violent.
Very violent.
That's it. That's canon. That's what happened.
Just lost it. All right. So done at the temple. Where are you guys gonna go?
What time is it?
What's the plan?
I mean,
I'm-
all things considered, I think even just taking it easy still, even if she's...
I mean, yeah.
You know, a lot of you guys took quite a shellacking.
yeah, it's been a real day.
This is only like halfway through the day when this happened, too.
Yeah,
when
what
I
time is
when
it?
I asked
Noon was our meeting.
when I asked Xanthi about a kind of a safe space, I was kind of hoping she would maybe be able to hook us up with someone a little more concrete. But
I mean,
Yeah.
We've actually been surprised. Like when we got attacked at that inn, it was actually while we were in the common room during
It
busy
was,
hours.
yeah, it wasn't even
So
nighttime.
Well, I mean, the other thing is maybe we go to Kairos. There's a big military presence there. Except I think they're full.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
really
mean,
keen on
She,
most
you,
of the company.
she told you about the safe houses, and you know where
Yeah.
one is, like where Clevin is staying, right?
wanna-
So
Stay in
Okay.
the jail.
no, not the
No, the
jail,
safe
the
house.
safe house,
That's the big house.
which is right near where you
Well,
guys are.
okay. If,
We could
I-
break into one of the people on the council's houses. She said those were safe.
Zilla's here
Let's
with
stay where we found that body.
Brad, the player, got the impression that she's like, yeah, we could probably work something out, but not like, yeah, go here, talk to this person, here are the keys, kind of thing.
The password is New England Clam Chowder. I mean, we're good here for the night. Right now, I wouldn't expect much trouble from the last two groups of people. Now, do we have a third coming after us? Oh yeah, the Yanti.
Oh,
Well, I mean, we kind of killed the chick, so I don't think the Yanti is much of a problem.
you guys
No,
want to go
There's more Yanti. I'm sure.
take a bath or go
No
shopping
baths.
or?
No baths.
Last
I'm
two
just-
times
I-
you took a bath, you got attacked by Sakola.
I'm just gonna like go over this wall, go into the ocean, flap around, and fly back up next
Have
time
I
I need
checked
a
that
bath.
trap lately?
I mean,
Oh,
it's
we did.
been half a day.
The one you
Was-
set last
Yeah,
night.
you guys went there today, right?
Yeah, earlier
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
I
Oh,
couldn't remember
that's
if it was the
that's a
Sunday.
good point actually that you bring that up, is because I think Sean was away when that happened. So Sean, I don't know if this was ever brought to your attention as a player. They went back to where the Sakola worshippers went down into the ocean, where Blackwind set up his trap,
Yep.
and they sent you in there in the water,
Yep.
transformed into a fish or something, or an eel
Yep.
or something, and then to just check out where it was, what was down there.
Yep.
So you discovered that one of the coral gates that's where it is. They definitely use that to leave.
And that's you can activate.
So you confirmed that there wasn't anything outside, but the coral gate is there. And you knew that there was a coral gate near Port Nanzar. You didn't know exactly where, but now you do.
Okay, I was wondering if I knew exactly where it was in here, because I knew there was one. Okay,
Yeah.
that was the core game. Okay.
Yeah. So I said that you wouldn't have activated or anything because it takes a gem to do.
No.
So
And you're a fish.
No, I would have been octopus for sure, because I can grab onto things and put stuff.
that's actually a good point. Octopi.
Very smart.
And
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would never have opened it and so like that and stuff unless we're actually ever planning on actually using it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
When
But
you
the
activate
using on
that,
stuff for that, eh? That's where they went. So.
once
Okay.
you activate that, do you have the option of being able to activate that
Anytime.
gate itself anytime then? Like
Yeah. Once he uses a gem on a gate, he's permanently can use that gate as much as he wants.
Yeah.
But it
like he's
consumes the
attuned
gem.
to it.
It's basically on stuff like a tuning on stuff, the one coral gem to that specific on stuff one. So it consumes the gem and stuff like that, and then I don't need to keep using the same one to open it over and over again.
Fast travel.
So
It's
To certain
not-
places and all stuff, yes, but traveling on stuff through there on stuff is dangerous and stuff like that and stuff in itself, and we don't know on stuff all the places that it can go. Like it's a lot of uncharted places.
All of our middle names are danger.
did you use one to get here, or did you take the slow way coming up? Like, are you already attuned to one that you arrived?
No, I
Mm,
don't believe so.
No, you're technically you're attuned to the one at Omgar. Yeah, you would have had 4 gems when you started. You would have used 1 when you left, but you didn't reattune, like, because you went from there Omgar to Refuge Bay. You didn't turn around and reattune yourself to Refuge Bay.
I see.
So
Okay.
he merged there, but it's not open for him to just go back unless he uses
So
another gem.
when you exit one,
doesn't take.
it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he can come and go as he pleases through the one at Omgar. because he's attuned. That's the only one he's actually attuned to, and you can do up to 3 more because he's got 3 of those gems.
Do you
Just have to find.
do you have any idea where there are any other ones?
The only ones you knew of is Omgar Refuge Bay and Port Nanzaro.
And Port Nanzaro? Okay.
Yeah.
Considering, like, are they all underwater, or are they just some of them are in dry land?
They're all underwater.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all
I wasn't
underwater.
sure if it was like a part of the city that sank or something.
But traveling through them also like that, don't need to be able to breathe underwater to travel through them. Like once you're in them, and stuff, the magic stuff that encompasses the whole thing, stuff it's like being underwater, but you can breathe underwater.
That is.
But the travel is like the same, so like it's still like swimming and things like that. So everything is the same, but you don't have to worry on stuff about drowning. So it makes it stuff quite difficult with swim speeds, things like that, because there are lots of uncharted stuff, things down there that we're not entirely sure of.
It's dark and full of terrors.
It's not dark, I think.
No,
But
they're actually well lit with phosphorescent luminescence.
it's not necessarily full of tears, also. It's just we're not the only ones on stuff that can use it, obviously, right? So there's other dangers on stuff that could be in there on stuff from places like unknown on stuff destinations.
Never been to a extra planar gate jump before. I'm looking forward to it.
It is something. It's something you can't describe on stuff until you're there and see it for yourself.
Well, I hope we get to take that journey with you at some point.
Like I say, it's definitely on stuff an option eventually on stuff to be able to help do different things on stuff, right? Like to go after the guys that are using it on stuff that are back home on stuff. A way of going to my master to maybe help on stuff, bring back Baz as well and stuff like that on stuff. Like he's the only high enough druid on stuff that I know personally on stuff that might be able to. But like I said, there's things around here like that we should definitely concentrate on before even thinking about.
Well, I would think at least anywhere there's a large old ruin of a city or a temple of some sort, like, and I'm even sure like with Archie's experience with drawing maps and stuff and finding settlements, like these gates are probably located by old cities that were abandoned, or like they're not just randomly just in a generally thinking.
There's probably one in like all the major bays around Chalt if it was Refuge Bay, and
I bet you there was one at Mesro, or
in this
in that
bay,
area.
it might have been.
Well, I would say just on that note, that could be a decent theory, Sean, because like the one that you went through, it's near the Typhoon Palace, right?
Yeah.
So the other one that you emerged from in like this one's near Port Nanzaro, which is on the bones of a very old city. The
not
one
necessarily a city, but
the one in Refuge Bay, there are ruins of structures near the Coral Gate that are underwater in Refuge Bay.
Yeah, like I feel also that these things on stuff were set up on stuff long before other civilizations on stuff were near these places, right? On stuff like the temple.
You won't be able to see them that easy.
No, they're not.
So it might give us an idea when we're in certain areas, perhaps there is something nearby. But so keep your eyes peeled whenever we're in the water.
But I believe on stuff that dealing on stuff like we're saying with the Blood King and things like that on stuff like first for sure. Stuff is very pressing on stuff for here.
Yeah, I think Orlunga is the biggest.
Well, you were thinking about sending your owl through the red portal?
Both.
Or
see what
what's
happens.
The other one, the yellow? Or
no, we came through the yellow.
We came through the yellow. It is red and blue.
Red and blue. Purple.
Well,
yeah,
the purple you collapse to the other end.
I know.
Yeah.
But at least I guess the owl will come in handy for that.
Yeah, I mean, we can do the same thing we did last time.
I actually came up with a theory too, though, because remember how the yellow one did not open up till we opened up the other end.
Yep.
So somebody is coming into the city from those other colors, and that's probably why the watches were missing, because they probably got spotted, or they knew about them. If they in fact died, I'm not sure. We never did get any information about the
Well,
watch.
I feel like it's possible that's how Fabian and stuff.
But
maybe they came back through.
Somebody,
and...
two different destinations came, because oh no, the blue was already there.
The blue was
there with the very first time you went. There was purple and blue when you first got there.
It was purple and blue.
And
yeah,
we brought
red
yellow,
has
and
red
so
is
somebody
new.
came from the red.
Activated yellow.
Which, in theory, from what you were saying, would be you're thinking Blood King.
I think one of them potentially could lead to the Mojang. I really do.
I mean, I mean, if how is this Blood King guy supposed to have any sort of influence whatsoever if he lives, 1,000, 5,000 miles away, 10,000 miles away?
I mean, Tamo-chan
20,000 miles away.
Did you not see all that vampire blood?
Would Archie actually have an idea of distance?
Given the map? Like he is not just...
It's like 200, 250 miles from Port Nanzaru, roughly.
Yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close to what I said.
20,000.
Well, and that's what I say.
He could be the source of the vampire blood too.
Oh, he's absolutely the source of the vampire blood.
What makes you say that?
Let's be fair here. He is.
Maybe it's his dog.
But before we do, if that's on our list now, which it should be, we should do some proper research into vampires if there's still any of the library left. Oh God,
I thought we got some decent information last time. Did we not?
No.
We haven't ever looked them up in the
library.
I
just mean vampires.
I've known some things,
Yeah, just like actual vampire knowledge. We all have the stories and stuff, but we don't have actual hard.
Maybe there's actually a story of the Blood King. Because I mean, myself, that name that activates my ring is the name of a fiend. I think we said, or a demon.
Mm-hmm. It's
potentially fiendish. Yeah, I think
fiendish name.
That's all I got on it. I did my best, guys, but it still wasn't very high.
No, the thing is you rolled all right on that. The thing is, I think that name was a long shot.
It was a long shot, but I'm also not a great.
Yeah, keep in mind, just because there's a library doesn't mean there's answers in the library for every question you want to look up.
It's not Graven Hollow?
No.
But
it's not like you're just not, if only I had rolled better, I could have found it here. It's like, it may not have been possible.
Finding the obscure, stories, right? But you have to make the links together.
Can we stop by a bookstore on our way to wherever we're going through the city?
What time of day is it?
It's like mid-afternoon at this point, probably. Probably like 2 o'clock.
Are you buying your any scrolls today too?
Not today. I did that this morning. But
before getting blowed up.
Yeah, I think before we try and use the library and I try and get more spells, I think we give them the day to sort of get organized and stuff again. Well, a day or two, and probably before they're gonna open anything like that up again, I think. But when we were in port the first time, there was a guy selling a book of monsters, of Chult monsters.
Of Voldo.
Yeah. Voldo. I was gonna pick it up for you, Blackwind, because I thought you might be, interested in all the different creatures and stuff around. Same with Donaquin. You guys might get. Yeah. So, I've just been reminded of it. Maybe he covers vampires in that book.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stop, you can buy a copy of Volo's book. You can find a bookstore and buy a copy easy enough. It's 50 gold for a durable hardcover edition. You can put it to use.
What about a paperback?
No.
An ebook version?
So, with a copy of the book, anytime you want to know lore about any particular monster, you can. since blah blah blah. Using I'm just reading a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so essentially, if you have a copy of that book with you, it allows you to roll even if you've never seen a creature before at all. And I would even say on certain creatures in if you're actively referencing the book when you're trying to identify something, it would give you advantage on those knowledge checks as well.
You'd have to kind of like, I guess, generally that's not a good thing to try to do in the middle of battle, but beforehand, if we see, like you're saying, we're
just owning the book is enough for you guys to be able to make rolls against things you may not otherwise be able to because you wouldn't know. Just having the book, so you have time in the party to kind of look at it in between your off times, allows you to make those rolls. But if you want to actually look something up specifically, and yeah, you're right, in combat you probably want to whip out a book and spend some.
Hang on.
But if you see a monster and it doesn't see you and you're not in combat and you kind of like want to just quickly look up what it's about, if it's in, it gives you advantage on those kind of checks as well. So
it could help. Well, but it could also help when we're scouting, when we're traveling, when we've got somebody who like scouts ahead and sees something, they can then reference the book as to what it was.
Yep.
As well. So that was my thought on it. But.
So
I would definitely also get the book. Yep.
Sure.
I wrote. You want to go halfers on it? 25 each.
And 50's not so bad.
Yeah, I'll pay for 25, and you pay for 25.
Okay.
Good.
Sure.
I'll also pay for 25.
We're buying 25 of them.
This bookseller is ecstatic for the.
It's a first edition, guys.
You're putting my kids through school, mister.
Yeah.
Does she happen to have any books on actual vampires? Probably not, but I figure why not ask? We're in a bookstore. Non-fiction.
Make an investigation check.
Sean, you want to keep it on your character sheet just because?
Am I exhausted?
No.
Sure.
Yes. You have 1 level of exhaustion.
I have a level of exhaustion because I died, right? Do I have 2 levels because I was unconscious twice? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
The roll that you made to get your injury is what gave you the exhaustion.
Okay.
Actually, maybe we should give it to Jonah to hold because he's got the bag of holding and it might be safer in there from.
I'd rather have it on stuff like on me to be able to reference it on stuff quicker in time to enjoy it that way.
Makes sense.
So I don't have an actual item just create an item. I would say it weighs like a pound. I don't know, hardcover book. I don't know how much they weigh.
That's a hefty book.
Do you want to know how much? Well, like a Wheel of Time book is like 1,000 pages.
I mean, I think I have Volo's Guide to Monsters. I could just go weigh it right now.
Is it squat or long?
Book.
What's
actually according to the player's handbook, a book is 5 pounds for a hardcover book. So.
Big heavy leather.
Exhaustion
binding.
gives you disadvantage on skill checks, right?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
You can apply the effect to yourself.
Oh.
Tarko will be looking at this book quite often.
Yeah, I mean, looking around, you don't find anything on vampires.
Yeah, it was a long shot.
Although is.
Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Does Volo's have vampires in it?
Well, that was my other though my thought was like, maybe
because it
says it has vampires in it.
Because it says that Volo's Guide to Monsters has all the monsters in the actual Volo's Guide to Monsters. So, all
right,
see.
I'm just gonna find out.
Now, here's the thing: don't
see if this index is any good.
If at all possible. It's not obviously it doesn't have stat blocks in it. It's got the lore of the monsters and stuff like in game terms.
Right.
So don't be looking up the actual book itself and looking through it.
Are vampires undead?
Yes.
It is not in Volo's Guide to Monsters then. It's probably just in the monster manual, honestly.
So Volo's Guide
vanilla enemy.
Volo's Guide has beholders, Beholders.
I mean, it's got a lot. It's got like
got-
hundreds.
It's got a bunch. It's got a big section on giants, gnolls, goblins, and
No vampires.
goblinoids. There is a section on hags.
Ooh.
Hey!
Ooh. Hey,
We
About
do
it.
know
I
quite
was
a
about
bit
to throw the book out when it didn't have vampires.
There's-
Um,
there are hags that have been messing with us.
Hey!
hey, wait a minute.
That's
There's-
the kind.
I stabbed the
You're
book into the book.
welcome!
there is
Yeah, he was hacking this book the first
There's a
time we
bunch
had
of dinosaurs in it.
Ooh.
there is a chapter on kobolds, on mind flayers, on orcs, on Yonti,
Hey.
and other books as well, or other creatures as well. There's demons and darklings and cranium rats and cave fishers and bodaks and froghemoths and grungs and
Jabberwocks.
hobgoblins and meanlocks and neogi and nilbogs and redcaps. There's a whole bunch of shit in there.
Now, for wild shaping on stuff, am I able to do it on stuff off of books at all and stuff like that, or does it have to be on stuff like in the wild type of thing?
You have to physically see the living creature.
On the pages of the book. Got it.
No, an artist's rendition or description in text is not enough for wild shape.
I mean, I can't turn into a 2D version on stuff. I'm like, what do
I'm a paper tiger.
I?
Past their prison bars.
Okay, that's fine.
Yay! I'm glad I remembered that. That could be helpful.
Yeah. No vampires, but there is a mind flayer lich.
Is there
That'll
a-
help my dreams now. Thanks.
Is there a
I,
section
for
on
one,
Spears of
welcome my new
Annihilation?
overlord.
It doesn't
On
have
what?
any sections on items or magical things. It's just.
Is a sphere really an item? I think it's an enemy as a
Yeah.
creature. Okay, cool. But
It
yeah,
could be
yay!
A dense swarm of cranium rats.
No, thank you. I think I've had enough of those in my head today.
Cranium rats?
hmm
Yeah, what?
I'm very unfocused. It's the cranium rats. Okay, cool.
So yeah. Anyway, so you have a copy of this book now. That's great. I offered that to you guys in like session 2, by the way.
Yeah, and we
Nobody's.
didn't have any
Everyone was
money.
like,
He
"Meh."
had money. He's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you want to buy my book for 50 gold?" And I'm like,
And Liz is like, "No, I've only got 300 something for my expedition funds. I don't want to buy that
That
on knowledge of
was not-
monsters we might want to encounter."
"That was not for personal use."
Also, I mean, there's not a lot of monsters in there that we might encounter.
Or, oh, you think so, eh? That's it. Mind Flayer Lich is all around.
No.
All right,
I
guys are-
Cranium
Archie was
rats
the only one
attack you
saying
in
it.
your sleep.
Cranium rat swarms. Nothing but cranium rats.
sending you guys to the Final Fantasy VI Coliseum, where there could be literally anything.
And it's an ancient dragon. Good luck.
Cool. Cool.
Godspeed.
All right.
Uh,
So,
yeah, so-
what? So let me just refocus us here for a second. So you're gonna
Sorry.
take some downtime here in the city to recover. Is there anything you want to accomplish in the city over the next? Like, how long are you gonna spend here before doing your next quote unquote story thing?
Well,
Are you gonna wait like 2 or 3 days, 4 days, 5 days?
how
a
many
week?
hit points? How many hit points a day do I get back?
5.
5?
5 a day.
Get back,
So
get back.
I need minimum of 4 days to get back to my maximum hit points. I think.
Get back to where you want
So-
to be.
All your hit points. Oh wait.
So do you guys want to take like 4 days of downtime to recover fully, and then jump into your next thing, like the portals or Lunga or whatever you decide to do next?
To be fair,
Yeah.
after day 3, I'll only be 1 hit point down. So if we want to do the portal activations on that day, I think that's a good call. Because we wouldn't be going probably until the next day anyway, because we have to cycle through, right? So we should do the scouting day 3.
Okay.
But otherwise,
Sure.
So to take 3 days of downtime, are you guys going to stay at the inn? You're going to stay in the safe house?
Safe house.
I mean, if have
Yeah,
the red
stay in the
carpet out
safe
for
house.
this? I only enter it if there's a red carpet. No.
There's a red shag carpet.
Ooh, shag! Get out of my head.
So
Thank you, thanks, Sonic.
I just don't
Any-
want to put anyone else at risk.
Anything. So let me ask this then. Anything you guys want to do in 3 days other than like just lay low, in particular? Anything like mundane shopping and all that kind of stuff. Just you can do what you do on your own, unless there's something very specific.
Mhm.
I'm gonna draw some tribal type large chest tattoo. I haven't got a design, but something large.
Yeah,
Complex.
I'm gonna want Blackwind to add to my face shield tattoo.
All right. Is
Yeah.
it small? Is it
Yeah,
simple?
just more marks.
Okay, so I'll have 2 dice to start with, plus with your assistance for drawing it, I guess.
Sure.
That would work. And then I also I can have, because it'll be say a 2 then? Like it's like dots and stuff like that, or is it?
Yeah. I'd say 2
So, like-
at level 2. Sure.
Sure. And then, so I'll get 1 from my apprenticeship, from the guy teaching me.
Yeah.
I can get an extra assist. Oh no, right, it doesn't matter. Actually, I can get 1 extra because of the monkey, my spirit animal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The flying monkeys that I hate. So I got 4 dice 6. I don't have any special materials right now, so I think that's about all I can do.
Okay.
So let's start off with 2 dice 6. Oh wow,
Oh.
this is a bad day.
Well, you
for
have
drawing it.
more than 2 dice 6 though.
I know, but still, that's a really
That's
bad start. Well, there's 7 plus. Sorry, my dexterity would be your. So I'm at 7, 8,
Oh, I've got platinum. Shit.
11. Did I do it? No, it's 15, isn't it?
it's 15. You should have more than that though, shouldn't you?
Well, and you also have your plus your proficiency and your modifier.
Oh yeah, my proficiency would be +3 on that.
So that's 10 in dice. You get to
So
reroll.
plus-
You get to reroll 1 for fine tuning, right?
Yeah, that was close. So as long as I don't.
There's
Whoa!
a 6, which eliminates
recovery.
that eliminates the other flaw as well. So 16.
Actually.
So
Oh yeah, right. I can re-roll that. That's right.
yeah,
Well,
because
and a minor flaw can be got rid of. So
yeah,
just because if he draws me what he wants, or he shows me what he wants, anyways. I guess
It's
I can-
literally, if you put marks down my face before, it's more of those.
Okay. So
Yeah. Just adding to them.
yeah.
So you just have 1 small boon, which they sparkle.
Cosmetic. Okay, success. So that's easy enough.
But I'm gonna get a larger pattern, but I haven't really thought it out here. Because I'm
Okay.
gonna get needle made out of crocodile teeth made, and then use those as a sacrifice because I'm using finer materials. Does that work like that? Or a sacrifice or whatever. I don't care which way it goes.
Yeah. Either way, you can. I would say, yeah.
So 1, 2 for the start. God damn it, my starts are awful. It's not gonna go well. 4. Ugh.
Thought that was
This
a
one's
1.
not- Oh, okay. There's 4, 6, 11. I think I'll have 5 on this one because no matter what, I'll always have 2 assists or an extra assist. And then the sacrifice. Yeah. Okay, so I can get rid of 1, 1.
14. And then you're gonna reroll.
Reroll the 1.
So 13 plus whatever you roll here.
Oh my god.
2. So 15 plus modifier plus proficiency is 20.
4.
I get you to 20?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
+3 proficiency, +1 dexterity, or so actually it'd be 19. I do believe.
19. So if you want to get it, you could use your inspiration for the sacrifice if you want.
Sure.
That would
why not?
automatically push you over to success. Because you need 20 for the big one.
There
Yeah.
we go.
There you go.
So I'll get some. I think I kind of have an idea. There's like tattoos that are kind of cool off of.
Sure. So with a
Painted
20,
Grail.
you can work on a large whatever, you can decide what it is after, but yeah, you can do that, and then that would give you no flaws or boons because it's no 6s or 1s, so you're good. It's exactly what you aim to do, no more, no less.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Awesome. Okay. All right. And anything else, Sharon? Or that'll take up probably
I
most of your
think
time.
that would probably take a bit of time because the bigger tattoo would take a while.
Yeah.
So I think that would at least be a day and a half
Yeah. Okay.
for the pattern, anyways.
Cool. All right. Andre, what about you? Would anything you in particular over the next few days? I'm ignoring right now anything that might come up or any role playing you guys want to do because there might be some of that. But I just want to figure out like over the downtime anything you want to do.
I would not be leaving unless Araceli was also leaving.
Okay.
He'll be in the library with me.
Okay. So
'Cause-
nothing in particular, just laying low and recuperating, watching
No.
over Araceli.
I would probably tell Jonah to take Quillen to the Temple of Gond or something in my stead.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's right around the corner too. So. Okay. Sean, what about you? Anything in particular?
I'd probably want to monitor on stuff like the Coral Gate, where it is and stuff like that, every once in a while, to see if there's any activity on stuff to and fro from it at all.
Sure.
And that, like, I would obviously be reading that monstrous book on stuff all a lot on downtime.
Sure.
What else would I be doing on that stuff? I would go to the dinosaur pit and stuff like that to try and study on stuff, the dinosaurs that are up there.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I love it.
What else I want to do? I would ask people and stuff like that about any sightings of turtles coming and going on stuff from the city at all.
Okay.
Just to try on stuff. Yeah.
Sure. So let me just address those things one at a time. So as far as the gate goes, at least in I assume you check it out like for a little while each day, just kind of watching it and then going seeing if there's any. But I would say in the next few days, no signs of it being used, no traffic.
Okay.
So either they're laying low at the moment, or who knows, but nothing in particular would occur. Give me an investigation check for asking about turtles.
Have you seen a turtle? Right there.
Yeah, I would say that they're a rare sight in the city. As far as you're aware with the 14, you're the only one that anybody is talking about at the moment. Some people would probably tell you that other turtles have been seen in the city, but most people, it's so rare that maybe it was like months ago was the last time they saw a turtle in the city.
Basically, I'm trying to find out on stuff if my brother and stuff like that on stuff came through here or with your type of thing on stuff we were separated, because I have no idea on stuff what happened to him after I was captured. So basically, I'm trying to ask so I can see if he happens to be around. So I don't know if he went back home or if he's still around here or anything. So
yeah, unfortunately, no solid leads from asking the citizenry.
Okay.
And as far as and like examining dinos, what's the biggest CR you can do?
That's a good question.
Because you'd be able to study a fair bit of dinos over by the dino pens.
Yeah, like I say, on stuff too. But 1/4. No, that's second level. Where am I? What level am I?
Half right now.
Half. Yeah.
At 8th level, it'll go up to
Yep.
1.
CR halves?
Yeah, that's CR halves and stuff like that. That's what at the moment. So
Okay.
But you can swim now, so maybe there's some fancy swimming guys. Who knows?
well, there's not gonna be any swimming ones on and stuff up in. Well,
The dino pens, they might have a pool.
I guess they could have a pool.
Like SeaWorld.
Here we go.
That's nothing you have to necessarily look at right now, Corey. It's just something.
Yeah.
To figure out. So,
But yeah, there's definitely some CR halves dinos there. I'm just not sure what exact ones there are, but I'm sure there's some there. So, how about this? We'll say that if there is a CR half dino, we'll say that you can study it because I'm sure there is. I know raptors for sure, but I think you can already do raptors.
I can do raptor. So, yeah, there's like I said, there's a couple on stuff that I can do at half and stuff like that. But yeah, I can do velociraptors and stuff like Dimetrodon and all stuff, things like that. So, but anyway, honestly, we can figure that out. That's not have to be something now. So
Yeah.
I just want to be able to do that while I'm here, knowing that there's a dinosaur pet here.
Sure. Okay.
And then the only other thing on stuff would be eventually on stuff with Jonah. I would try to help him communicate more on stuff with this raptor, like on a basic level and stuff like that. So I don't have to be there to talk back and forth.
What is this guy saying?
Let's wait a second.
There's
And
that one.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, but that one's got a fly
Gestures.
speed. You can't turn into things with fly speeds. Shit.
not
Okay.
yet. Level
Yeah,
8.
so then Jonah on stuff can be able to communicate on stuff a bit on stuff with this raptor without me being there on stuff and kind of know on stuff what the raptor basically wants, type of thing, things like that.
Are you getting those things I'm dropping on you?
I am, yes.
There's just a couple that I see right off the bat.
I was just like filling up Sean's screen.
No, there's just a couple.
It's so much.
Oh, I can't do fly speed. Yeah, Velociraptor you already have. Yeah,
so
there's.
can he like look at the fly speed now? He just can't turn into it until he can fly, or he can't look at it at all until.
It doesn't matter for now. I'll decide that when he can do it. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, those are the ones that I see. The other dinos are CR1 or higher, Sean. So.
And and they have these ones on up there.
Yeah, all those ones I handed to you. Those ones you could study.
Okay, then that's definitely something else that I would do. I think that's it.
Okay. John, what about you?
Well, I would definitely go with Donna Quinn to figure out how to talk to Chance. And then my main thing would be I want to do some crafting, but I want to do some group crafting. So I'd want to talk to a couple members of the party to see what their advice is. So the first person I would go to would be to Blackwind, because my goal is to try to make a syringe that I can use more in like combat. So I want to get his advice on how best to use a needle that could actually sort of puncture tough skin or armor or stuff like that.
So like a tattoo needle, for example, but
like beefy, but also like also not too beefy that would hurt like a friend if I had to use it on a friend. So this might be a difficult project.
Pinch.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then I would go to Aelin and ask him if he knows anything about how to make crystal vials that are strong but like are fragile on the end, so I could load them up with the liquid and like put them into the syringe quickly. You don't have to think about it now, but that's what I would go to. So I'd like some sort of like little canister, like a little cartridge, basically. I figured since you work with crystals and gems, if there's anything along the lines of that. And then finally, I would go to Brad and I'd be like, I think you're interested in metal, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. Are you going to be going to the Temple of Gond at all?
Yeah, later on. You should go with me.
I I was gonna ask if you wanted to come with me, so that works out.
Perfect. Because I would love if. Do you know anything about like springs? I need a really powerful spring.
You know what's? It's actually hilarious. I was genuinely 100% going to ask you the exact same thing.
Great. I don't. Actually, maybe I do.
Maybe for my purposes, you roll to see if you do.
Maybe for my purposes, you roll to see if you do.
I have no idea what you guys are doing here. What do you
I
guys-
have an idea for something I want to do,
I'll
and
go
John has an idea for something he wants to do.
Both of them use springs.
Yes.
Both of them use springs.
And I was like, oh, and like he's a crafty gnome. He probably has, his hands in all kinds of little, smaller kind of, gadgetry things, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So my goal is to make a syringe that I could use against enemies and friends, and then hopefully improve the design somewhat so I can get it down from maybe like using it as an action to using it as a bonus action. But that'd be that's my long-term goal.
Okay.
So that's what I'd like to do.
But yeah, anything I can do to help you with that, you got it.
Great. What I'd love
Or-
to hear.
Like the idea, like the darts, the actual weapon darts, because they're like almost a foot long, but like turn them into injecting darts.
That's true.
Yeah.
The trick with that though is I want to make it so it can, get through some little bit of armor, but not also stab off a friend. Like, oops, I went too deep. There's your heart. My bad.
Only 1d4 damage. Typically, anyways.
Are you trying to be Anna from Overwatch, where like
I haven't played that game, Brad.
the same? She has a gun that fires syringes. If it hits an enemy, it does damage. If it hits a friend, it heals them.
It heals them.
Oh, so this is like the healing hunter from WoW. That meme I'm familiar with. Yes.
Mm.
There you go.
Okay.
We don't
Just
have
trying
to even do it today, but I just want to put that out there. That is my crafting big goal. Multi-part project.
You're tinkering.
Sure.
It's cool.
Okay.
Well, hey, in NPC D&D, they made a photocopier. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Even though there's actually literally a spell to, like, copy text.
Yeah. Um.
There is?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's it called?
I don't know. It's like message. It's like not message. It's like
You could also have
I don't
Doctor
know.
Who's psychic
illusory
paper.
script. I think it's called.
So people will see what they want to see as well.
Yeah. But you can use it just straight up copy.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe the Temple of Joaquin can cast that for you, should you want them to. I'm almost positive I gave that to them. Yeah, illusory script. They can do that for you as a service. Okay. Okay, so the goal. So springs. Okay. Syringes and springs and darts and stuff. Okay. So Brad, what do you want to do with springs?
Okay. Well, I kind of figured we'll
Spring shoes.
do. John was going around to the different party members to say, "Hey, could I borrow your expertise in these various things?" And he asked me if I might happen to know about springs because I work with metal. And I have a whole separate project that I'd like to do that might also involve springs that I was going to ask Jonah about. So we can come to me once we're done with Jonah.
I think we are done with Jonah.
Oh, is he not going to actually craft anything, or?
I'm going to give Corey a little time to think this over.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that's what I was waiting for.
Sure.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, Quillen, through this downtime, would definitely be interested in going to the Temple of Gond and meeting all the people there, seeing their forges. We don't have to RP it out, but he would be talking about how like the places that he was taught and were everything were were great, but were not necessarily up to this level of like, I guess, cleanliness or functionality. They were a little bit more ramshackled, and we do with what we've got. And that the dwarves that taught him, always were like, listen, yeah, I know you got all these great ideas, but we don't have the tools for stuff like that. And it's like, well, if anyone's gonna have the tools for something like this, it's a place like this. So he has ideas for ways to improve his armor, and he would be seeking assistance either from Jonah if he's around, or from other skilled armor smiths about one of three possible things, if not all, if possible. Ways to lighten his current armor. He feels kind of, he likes the protection that it gives, but wishes that, it was lighter. And so is there places that he could, take things away and replace it with a different type of metal, that sort of idea?
Yeah, let's stop there. So, yes, but you'd need the other material, i.e., the only way you're going to get the same protection with lighter materials if you go with like mithril.
Okay.
Because that's mithril armor is you can have a quote unquote what type of armor are you wearing? Like what's the half plate? Oh, what's the AC bonus on that?
17, I think.
15.
Yeah.
Half plate. Is there half plate? So no, there's adamantine. That's not lighter. Yeah, mithril half plate is the thing. So yeah, if you had mithril, you could craft or incorporate like a half plate armor with, if you had enough mithril. That would be a way to gain, because the weight on yours is what?
40 pounds.
It's 40. So mithril armor. So it would remove the disadvantage on stealth checks by changing it to mithril. Mithril is a light, flexible metal. Okay, so it doesn't actually say it reduces the weight, but it should reduce the weight. So I would say if you had mithril half plate, it would cut the weight, the physical weight. It would still be medium armor, but it would cut the physical weight down to 20 and remove the instead of 40, and it would remove the disadvantage on stealth to switch to mithril. So monetarily, you'd need about 500 gold pieces worth of mithril to be able to do a half plate.
All right. Well, then a follow-up question to that is, do they know where I can acquire that amount of mithril?
The only well, there used to be a good supply of mithril and adamantine, but unfortunately it's been cut off. But the mines of Harakmar, Wormrest Mine,
down south.
Yeah, I think Quillen would know about that mine, but
yeah, particularly with given who you trained with, they definitely are probably lamenting that loss all the time. Not just the tools and the forge and everything there that were lost, but also just the access to the raw materials. Otherwise, the only other source of mithril it's not common, but it's frequently found in Chult, would be those OMP. They're made of mithril. They're worth about 10 gold pieces each in mithril. So
10 each?
Yeah, so each OMP is basically like it's worth in gold piece value. If you melted it down, it's worth about 10 gold pieces worth of mithril per coin.
So we could exchange 50 OMP.
50 of them for him to do this.
Yeah, because you can just money change them out. Oh wait, is that? Hold on.
Yeah, but
Temple of
I thought it was
Well, he wouldn't be money changing. He'd be melting them.
You'd be
Melting.
melting
melting
them
them down.
directly.
So
And then the
half
Chawingas will
plate,
steal your
50
armor.
coins. But I mean, I'll do it too. I want some Mithril.
Coin.
Because I have that.
Why don't you just staple them
have some
together, and then
liquid.
you got yourself like scale mail.
So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
check. Where did I
Studded
put
leather. Put Mithril in it.
Where did I put the
How much-
I just want to double check the monetary value of the Mithril pieces. Older Moon Mithril pieces. Here we go. Yeah, they're the equivalent, like in monetary value, they're the equivalent of platinum.
Okay.
It's 10 gold pieces per coin in just raw value. Like if you were just to sell Mithril pieces to somebody, they're worth 10 gold pieces a piece per coin. So they're just as valuable as platinum when you find them. Assuming you find some. Bear in mind though, old Mithril pieces aren't in general circulation for just spending in shops. So you'd need to find somebody who's actually willing, like the Temple of Gond or whatever, that's actually willing to buy the Mithril for the raw material. Not just like a money changer wouldn't just change you out for Mithril necessarily.
Right. Okay. Well, so that kind of goes with my second idea, which was I wanted to see what options were available for making my armor quieter. Because I was like,
that's the point of
Good
Mithril.
one.
It's lighter, so it's quieter. That's the point.
yeah.
Of
Well,
Mithril.
I was like, even if it's heavy, is there engineering that can be done to the joints and like using different fasteners and things like that uses the same material that I'm working with, but it's crafted in such, or is there some kind of a bit of magic that can go into it? That sort of idea is what he's getting at.
And springs.
And then the third thing, this is where I was going to bring Jonah in, was would it be possible to also change out the fasteners to be spring loaded so that I could
Don and doff.
my armor much faster?
That's kind of cool.
So mechanically, this is what you're asking for. You're asking for cast-off armor, which is a common level armor. There's nothing. It's not for putting on, but you can doff it as an action because it literally just pops apart. But it's not. It doesn't work the other way.
Okay.
But it's a common level magic. It's kind of like a. It's not even like uncommon, so it's a pretty relatively straightforward. Not straightforward, but it's not like it's like power wise. If you think like I'm just talking meta now, like statistically, it's not a powerful magical effect. Because how often is it going to come into like I'm going to pop my armor off in combat? Nobody cares about that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fighters on the go.
So cast off armor, yes, it's something you can do. I would say, like if we're talking like building this yourself.
Well, I would hope to more modify my existing armor, but either way.
And Mithril armor is uncommon level of difficulty. So cast off is common, Mithril is uncommon. What was the third thing? Well, Mithril does what you're asking for.
Mithril does the first two things.
Yeah, so Mithril is an uncommon level magical craft, and cast off. So cast off is easier to do than the Mithril.
Right.
So in witchcraft,
is there a reason you don't want to go to heavy armor? I would ask my friend.
Boy, I mean, eventually, definitely I do, but I gotta. That's why I'm working out every day. Like.
Well, I'm just saying, if we're crafting it to be, that's the other thing about Mithril.
Yeah,
there's no strength requirement.
I mean, if I can do a set of Mithril full plate, then yeah, I'll do that.
I'd imagine it would take a lot more of the
coin. But you could do So the other thing about Mithril is it removes any strength requirement.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, yeah,
Because it's so light, that makes sense.
it's honestly, it's less of a mechanical requirement and more of literally the number of pounds is. I don't want to ever be encumbered.
Right, but then that's what he's saying. He's suggesting do mithril plate.
Yes, I
instead of
know.
backplate.
I'm just saying it's not that I'm not actually strong enough to wear it. It's that like even though I have the strength required to do it, if I were to have full plate armor on, which I'm allowed to have with my current setup, I would be encumbered.
I see.
Not only encumbered, you wouldn't be able to fly either.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Well,
in heavy
what
armor.
about not going from plate, but like just chainmail?
That one was more of I think I was going for a more of an aesthetic choice with that.
Okay.
I feel like he liked the fantasy idea of the suit of armor, not the chain.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just give in your character. That makes sense.
The shiny.
Chain armor.
Okay, so if you have, if you want to do mithril half plate, or do you want to do cast off like one? I don't know if you want to, because it would be two different things, I think.
The cast off, that's we can not worry about that right now. But is that the type of thing that I could add on to an existing piece as opposed to no, this is a fully unique original thing?
One or the other.
You would. I mean, you could use it. It doesn't matter either way. You could either use your existing one as the materials to make the new one, or just do it from scratch. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The only difference would be you'd have to buy the raw materials of the normal half plate again if you did it from scratch. So why wouldn't you use your existing one, right? For the cast off, I'm saying.
Yeah. Right.
I think the question is can you do cast off mithril?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you combine them?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Then
it would just be it'd just be two crafts or slightly harder, I think, but whatever. It wouldn't be terribly difficult.
I would say, okay, I'm still just a little bit confused, but so let's say I do two separate crafts. The first one is I'm just making the mithril half plate, full stop, nothing else special.
Sure.
I succeed on that. Can I then say, okay, now let's turn this into cast off, and if I fail that, is the first craft now null and void?
No.
Or did I just... Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
So, to do mithril armor, if you want to attempt this, it's going to be an advanced level 4 craft.
Okay.
Because uncommon level magic items is a level 4. Uncommon is level 4. Rare is level 5. Very rare is level 6. And level 7 is like legendary kind of level. So to make any magic item, which mithril is equivalent of an uncommon magic item, you're looking at an advanced craft level 4.
Okay. So what does that DC?
So that's a DC 25.
Oh, DC 25.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay, so you could.
Another thing that I want to do while I'm here, I want to buy a set of the high quality smith's tools. That's an option, right?
Yeah.
We have some of those if you want to use them.
High quality smith's tools?
Don't we? We found them.
No, those are mason tools.
Those are mason's tools.
Oh, those were mason tools. I thought they were.
Okay, sorry. Just because I want to move along with this. So,
Sorry.
do you want to attempt to craft it?
Well, first I need to know if people are
get up
willing
to.
to pitch in the OMP.
How much gold do you have?
I have
How much time is it going to take?
451 gold plus 18 platinum, so 451 plus 180, 631 gold.
If I will give you the 50 OMP.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
If you'll for
I only need 42 OMP.
8.
Okay. I was gonna say if you'll bank a spell for me, basically, if you'll pay for a
Sure.
spell.
How much is that?
Depends on which one I want, but
Okay.
maximum 225. So if you have way more than you need.
Okay.
Okay.
Then yeah. Yes,
so,
we're doing it.
Okay.
I'm going to say that project size on this is going to be medium.
We need to figure out whether
So
you
2
can
times project at a rate of 1 stamina per difficulty level, which is 4 multiplied by the size. So 8. You need 8 stamina. You start with 3, but you're tier 2, so you have 4. So it'll take you 2 days.
Better than the original calculation of probably 2 years to do that.
Yeah. So doing nothing but crafting this over 2 days. This is like 2 full work days of work to do this. So it would take you. So you can do it. If a project requires more stamina than you can spend in 1 day, the project dictates the number of days required to complete, which makes so 2 days. The crafting action is only taken once though at the end of the duration. So it's 8 hours work. Okay, so it's a DC 25. It's 8 hours or it's 2 days of work. And then you would need to make a roll. So you have 2d6 plus your. You said you're buying the high quality tools.
Yes.
Okay, because they have
And
those.
Yeah.
How much are those?
They are 10 times whatever the normal cost is.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I got lucky with the chef's tools because
Yes, you
normal chef's
did.
tools only cost 1 gold.
Mm-hmm.
How much are Smith's tools?
20.
Lot.
So it'd be 200
I think it's
gold.
also including a
200
a
gold.
mini anvil.
Yeah.
For
Well, so
chopping.
what do you get for it?
It's +2, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's +2.
I think Baz was the only one with master tools. So
Yeah, no. Mine
Yeah,
was like
mine-
100 gold. It's like, oh,
Mine's
maybe not.
150 for
mine's
calligraphy.
250. Which, on that note, provided Brad can remember what the benefit is and it's decent, I would probably send Jonah with 250 gold and get him to pick up Master Tools, Craft Tools for me.
That's what I said. I like I said, I'm pretty sure it was +2.
I'm almost positive it is too. Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will
so,
make a note of that.
All right. So okay.
So if you have 200 gold to spend on the tools, that will give you a +2 to your check, which will be helpful, very helpful.
So we got +2 from tools. 2d6 just from base, like I'm tier 2 crafter person.
Yep.
Then
if you're using the OMP, I would say you've got the high quality material, because those are
Or sacrifice.
no, that's material. So
and then my techniques. I'm taking durable assembly, which won't matter for this, other than the object will have +1 AC, but I won't have +1 AC while wearing it. But and then infectious enthusiasm. I feel like that works for Quillen. He loves talking about smithing and metal and shit.
What's it do?
What does it do?
Oh, it's basically I have advantage on charisma checks involving my current project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess if you needed to talk somebody into helping you,
if
Or talk down the price.
Or talking up your work.
out and like I'm trying to sweet talk a person at the temple to help me out in some way, I might have advantage on that check.
Well, for 10 gold, you get the assistant die.
Yes.
It's unbreakable Tupperware. It will not.
And 100 gold, you could get the sacrifice die.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the assist is 10 gold.
It'll be 20 total. It's 10 gold a day, and this would take you 2 days.
20 gold.
So you've got high quality materials. You've got assistants.
Wasn't there something with like a workshop?
That's what you're paying 10 gold.
That's what you're paying
That's
for.
10 gold.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
the assistant
Okay.
die.
You get an assistant. Yeah.
I see. And then I could I could do the. You said 100 gold was a sacrifice.
Yeah, you get 3.
Yeah, or you can just use your inspiration die as sacrifice.
Unfortunately, I have no.
Oh,
I
you
have
don't
no
have any.
inspiration.
Okay. So you could, if you want to get the you can do that. The generosity you won't get because it's for yourself.
Yeah.
So then you've just got the knowledge die left.
Could I? So here's where potentially
The charisma.
the charisma thing and my background might come into play. Are there any dwarves in the Temple of Gond?
Yeah,
You can set up.
the High Artificer is a dwarf cleric of Gond.
So
yes, you can use her. You get the knowledge die too. I'll just give it to you.
awesome.
So knowledge, high quality, assistance, and sacrifice. If you pay the gold for all of that.
Okay, so I'm writing all of this down to make sure I'm not missing anything, and just to see if it's even fucking possible
to
for
hit
me
it.
to hit
Okay,
it.
so what is you have your proficiency on your what is your thing, your base tool?
I
roll?
don't. It depends on if
It's
we're
going to be
talking.
strength.
It'd be strength, so it's
Okay.
+2.
Plus your proficiency is 3, plus 2
5.
for the high quality things.
7. So you get plus
So
7
you get
static.
plus 7.
6 dice
to
6
the-
plus 7.
6 dice 6 plus 7.
If you
Okay.
pay all the gold, have the high quality tools and everything, it's 6 dice 6 plus 7.
Now, is there any other dice you can get for any? Oh, only if you're making it for somebody else,
Only,
right?
yeah,
Is that the last one?
that's it.
Or
It's a
wait,
DC 25.
wait, is it you're tier 2 crafter, right?
Yeah.
Don't you have 3 dice 6? Or do you start with 1?
No.
You start with 1.
You
go
start
2.
with 1.
Okay. So yeah, so you'd have 6 dice 6 plus 7.
7.
6 times 3,
Yeah.
18 plus
And-
on
and-
average,
and
on
a
average with a
reroll.
plus on average with a plus 7, you have 50% chance of making this. But you have a reroll, so you've got let's say 55-60% chance of making this on average right now.
Okay. My big question is whether or not I buy those tools if I'm going to be. So I've only got 600 something gold.
Without the tools, you probably have even with the reroll about a 50% chance of making it without the tools.
Yeah.
Plus, wouldn't Quillen want the tools?
Oh yeah, of course he would want the
Okay.
tools.
Yeah, I mean, Archie would just be like, "You can owe me here. Have it, Quillen.
Okay, cool.
Protect me, and you can have the OMP."
I will do
You
it.
can fix your armor out in the field.
Like honestly,
You know.
when I had this idea, I thought maybe I might be able to finagle one of the 3 ideas, but getting 2 and having it be the 2 real ones that I wanted, I think it's worth it to attempt it anyway. So cool.
Sure.
Let's go.
If you manage to get a substantial boon, I'll give you the cast off for free.
Oh,
So
cool.
You just need a substantial boost.
And there's
Can I
Oh.
guide him?
there we are. I was like, "There's something
no.
we're missing."
No, you
Okay.
can't. Guidance. You could guidance in place of an assistance die, but maybe. So if you want to spend
Maybe.
your 2 days doing nothing but guiding him the entire time, that would save him from having to pay for
20
an
gold.
assistant. But
I'm more expensive than 20 gold.
All right.
I'm more expensive than 20.
Here
Okay.
goes-
Standing outside the Temple
So,
of Gond with a sign
Yes,
offering his
66 plus
services.
7 is what you're looking
6
at.
die 6 plus
I can
7.
help you
And remember,
build
you
anything.
can roll them one at a time.
I am going to.
Okay, go.
Okay.
3.
I haven't done this in a
we're at 10. 5 dice 6 to go.
Not good.
12.
I don't know why I'm writing them down.
Yeah, we can see them all. 16.
9 away.
3 more dice. On average, you should still make this. Uh-oh. It's 18.
Do not
That's
fuck
what we
You
me.
need
nasty
7 on 2 dice 6. There's a 6.
Hey.
Good one.
So
You get it. You've
got
made
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He rolls a 1
just-
and he still got it.
Mm.
2 6s. And, okay.
And you can re-roll one of the
Reroll
twos.
that
Yep.
2.
Reroll a 2.
But okay, I was gonna say if you get a 1, that fucks you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because you've
Whatever.
already made it. You don't need to necessarily reroll it. But
Nice.
There
you
So
go.
you've got a substantial boon, right?
Boom. So
2/6 is a
30,
substantial, right?
yeah,
you said
Yeah.
mythical armor that I can.
pop off.
Oh,
Brad, good job.
oh,
You did it.
Wow. Good
Guys.
job, Quillen.
thank you so much. This is this is the coolest.
You pop it
I
off
mean,
again?
I imagine I imagine it's like you got some beautiful like detailing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, what's the filigree, or
Or,
do you
like,
have
I mean-
design on it, or?
It's got
design, or-
basically so the one that I had before. I mean, it was you could tell that it was like it was really nice for being made where it was, and with the access to what he had access to. He was taught very, very well. Like that's sort of what he was sort of skating on, was the fact that the clan that he was with were fucking awesome. If they had access to this place, they would be, ripping shit all. Yeah, it would be awesome. But yeah. So the main sort of design motif is what you see on his shield. He was able to do the stuff on his shield because he had a little bit more of a magical boost going into it. In other words, it's a +1 magical shield. So he wanted to incorporate some of that Uptown Maze
Ooh, that's
design
cool.
motif into this piece, and it's so much lighter. And oh god, like this is what
So
I've been wanting.
you said you had 8 OMP. It was 42 that you
Correct.
needed. Okay, just so I can correct mine.
So delete your half plate off your character sheet, and there you go.
So, okay, well, quick question. Did I just, like, modify my current half-plate with Mithril?
Yes, that's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Great. That's
Yeah.
all. I wasn't sure if it was... Nope, I'm making a whole brand new thing.
That's also 750 gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
it
be
would-
another 750 if you did it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
it'd be
Because I really like what you did. Do you think someday you can make one for me, but with like the birds
Yeah.
not on it? Or
Absolutely.
birds.
No birds.
All right, so I'm removing the OMP, and how...
320 gold.
You need 320?
No.
how much it
320 is
cost
what
you.
you spent. That's how much it cost
sorry.
you.
Thank you.
But you get to add your high quality tools as well,
Thank you.
which are worth
Okay.
200.
So that's good. Okay.
The
It's
major
just
boon
Liz.
suggestion is literally the object is easy to take apart and reassemble without impacting effectiveness. Is one of the
Nice. That's one of the suggestions. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
That's perfect.
I was just looking up. There's a whole list of suggestions.
Yeah.
On the
Well, I
backside.
figured-
Some of
some
them are wild.
I
Some
figured
of them are
cast
wild.
off would fit under it. So I'm glad you actually made it. That's cool.
That's
Okay,
perfect. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Thank you very much for allowing me that self-indulgence.
We haven't crafted
alright,
in a
cool.
while.
Cool. I was just
Very
curious. I just wanted to see if mechanically if the disadvantage was gone now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very
And the
cool.
weight's only 20 as well. You'll notice. So.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Excellent.
Object can be done and doffed in a quarter of the normal time. There's very similar things.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Congratulations on the first major boon. Like, really cool major boon.
Well, that's the first level 4 craft of the campaign,
Yeah.
isn't it? Level 4.
Level 4, I think.
I think so.
Yes, you're right. The bracelets
Yeah.
on me were level 3.
Or 3.
Baz
Um,
found a recipe.
He went for the gold. Or,
I'm just giving you guys some long rests because you will, just to clear up the combat tracker. Liz, put yourself up for 3 days worth of hit points on your hit point max.
Huzzah!
So
next 3 days, I'll charge up Oroboros too.
oh sure, yeah. How many? What else? You're scribing? You're
31.
spending some time scribing some scrolls from your books, Liz? Some golden money, or?
I actually want to see if a couple spells are actually available to buy
Sure. Which ones?
as well. Misty Step. I would
Yes,
like to
look.
see if Misty Step is available.
What level is Misty Step?
2.
Ooh.
You told me I could only go up to level 2 for buying things, so
Yeah.
unless that's changed.
Yeah. Available.
Sweet. Okay. Is absorb elements available level 1?
Yeah.
Sweet. And last but not least, Maximilian's Earthen Grasp level 2.
No, they don't have that.
Curses. That's okay, I guess. Level 1, do they have grease? Since I can't get the Earthen Grasp.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's spells. So that's only 4 hours worth of scribing for those. So that's not bad.
Yeah. And you have the money to do it?
I do. Yeah. And then after I've acquired those, the rest of the time would be spent in the library for me.
Okay. Sure. Would you?
Assuming the library is open. I don't know if that's even an option, but
I would say it wouldn't be the first day, but you could do the other. You could spend that first day scribing your
spells.
spells. Are you going to scribe any of the other ones from any of the spell books?
Once I calculate how much money I have left, because I will have enough to get one or two.
And you already bought a library card, right?
I did.
Okay. So
I have
what?
one. If somebody wants to use it, they're not tied to a person specifically, are they? Like I could lend it to somebody in our group.
Sure.
Could he lend it to Elin?
Sure.
Okay. If you were coming with me anyway. Andre,
it's expensive enough that sure, I would. That's fine. Andre, did we go through your stuff?
I said I wasn't doing anything that
okay.
was away from Maricelis.
Okay. All right. What are you looking for in the library? Let's run through that real quick.
I would like to look up knowledge of vampires.
Okay. Investigation check with advantage.
That's
yeah, and I guess I would probably, while we're here at the library, look up stuff connections between House Karnok and Ishao and Shar.
You also wanted to look into the beret in general, right? Our mom, so keep that in mind.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I've got it.
Okay. So vampire wise, yeah, you find enough lore on vampires. Yeah, just in general, vampires, 27 is enough to, to know that they are very strong against necrotic damage. They are very strong against non-magical weapons. They have regeneration. They are able to turn into mist. They can only truly be destroyed if their regeneration isn't functioning, which means it needs to be either if it's not in sunlight or direct running water. Regeneration also ceases to function if it's taken radiant damage or damage from holy water in the same turn. Their regeneration won't function.
Okay.
Vampires can spider climb at will, and with the 27, not 20 is really helpful. With the 27 that vampires can't enter residences without an invitation from one of the occupants. Vampires are harmed; they take acid damage by being held in running water. They can be incapacitated in its resting place by driving a wooden stake through their heart, paralyzing them until the stake's removed. They will take radiant damage in sunlight and have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks while in sunlight. They have very powerful unarmed strikes. They have a very, very vicious bite that drains max hit points and regenerates and heals them at the same time. Anybody killed by the bite raises a vampire spawn under their control the next night. They can charm or dominate people with their gaze at will. They can summon bats and rats as well as wolves, like packs of wolves, at will. Oh no, not at will, but frequently, at least every single day, they can summon bats, rats, or wolves if they need to, that control under their command. And they're very fast and very hardy, i.e., they have legendary actions and resistances.
Do we, from this research, do we get a sense of, in a non-meta standpoint, what their CR is? Like, you know,
They are above your current
significantly above our level. Okay,
They're significantly. They're a tier above your current capabilities at minimum.
So if the Blood King is an actual vampire,
He'll mop the
he's
floor with you.
he will destroy us. So
Let's go for it.
If he's that's like a master vampire, like a true vampire.
Mhm.
Like not
Yeah.
vampire spawn is a different thing. But Naharali was like vampire spawn, and you saw roughly how tough she was. So
Not so tough when a paladin crits them.
fair enough.
Maybe he's a vampire lich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's vampires.
Vampire Mind Flayer Lich.
12 isn't really useful for learning about the Ishao.
Sure.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit too obscure to get anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
What? So, how long did I say each research attempt takes? 4?
2 hours.
2? Okay, you can keep going then if you want.
And you could so you could like research it again if you wanted to keep looking into it. You're allowed to research the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably do what I can.
Okay.
And if I know I'm going to be here for a couple days, there's only 2 things that I really want to look into. So
Sure. Keep going.
better.
Better.
I am going to see if I can find out anything on the Soulmonger.
Sure.
Okay.
So with 17, Shao, there's decent information. 17 is enough to gather most. Archie find nothing on the Soulmonger. 0.
Figure.
Ishao, you do know are a Chultan tribe that were driven to extinction. With a 17, you would know that the Ishao were one of several tribes that came over to Chult in the early days of human civilization, along with the Tabaxi being the other major tribe. Let's see. There was a terrible civil war between the Tabaxi and the Ishao tribes that would last for nearly 300 years. Near the end of the bloody war, the Ishao, with a 17, you would learn that the Ishao somehow released an ancient creature of some sort that they referred to in the writings as Ishao Dao, which translates to Shadow of Ishao, which attacked the Tabaxi capital and the holy city of Ubtao, Mesro. Nearly annihilating Mesro, Ishao unfortunately then turned on its summoners and wiped out a large amount of Ishao warriors. After this attack, a chosen known as Reish Nasi sought to wipe out the surviving Ishao from the land in retaliation, nearly succeeding, pursued them all the way to some area called the Valley of Lost Honor, and basically committed genocide against them. You do know that they spoke their own language known as Ishawan, which is unrelated to the language spoken by the Tabaxi people. And there is a legend circulating that there may that some pockets of Ishao survivors did survive beyond Nasi's genocidal scourge. You do also find that there is limited information on this, but there is some information that points that Ishao may be an aspect of, or maybe vice versa, of the goddess Shar. Some writings indicate that Shar may have, after this genocide, absorbed a Shouthouse essence, destroying the creature or somehow amalgamating itself into her own form.
Mm-hmm.
But
But any connection to House Karanok? Because that was what I was kind of trying to focus on too.
No.
Or would that be a separate investigation?
Yeah, I mean, in investigating a Shao and Shar, no, there's nothing in there that indicates any sort of connection to Karanok.
Okay.
What was that one roll for, Archie?
That was the Soulmonger. That was,
Oh,
which was
okay.
nothing.
Okay, do you want to keep... Okay, you guys want to keep going? Anything else?
Yep.
Yeah, like I say, it's
Okay,
that's the time. So we got a couple days.
What's next?
All right, my next one is I want to look into any references to a golden scaled dinosaur, like the vision we saw.
Sure. And
in...
Aelin, what are you looking at?
I would like to find if there's more information on the Beret of Mesro, specifically on Alisande.
Sure. Archie, no. There are some limited information on the beret. Singular, by the way, is Bara, but beret is plural. You would find with the 14 some basic information. There were 7 chosen of Ubtao, undying men and women who ruled the holy city of Mesro as basically paladins, essentially. Not really paladins, but sort of. That's the closest equivalent. You would find the first Bara was a woman named Oyai, and she was first given power to defeat a creature known as the Sleeper. Not sure, there's no other real information on that. Afterwards, Oyai followed with the Tabaxi people, the Ashau people as well, across the ocean to Chult. Ryan's sleeping.
Sounds like the Sleeper wasn't defeated.
Hey.
There is there's some other limited information on the beret, but in particular, you do know that they were each beret, and there was many of them. There wasn't just 7 of all time when beret were killed or they were replaced by Ubtao. The last known beret were the 7 that you know of. Mm-hmm. And in particular, with a 14, you wouldn't get any specific information on any of the beret other than just like the names. Okay. 14 is just not good enough to get particular.
Yeah, I keep looking then.
Okay.
Same here with the dino.
Sure. Okay. Archie, nothing.
Come on.
Aelin, little bit better. There's a little bit more information. Alisanda, you do find reference to Alisanda. In fact, you get a last name. Her full name was Alisanda Rayburton, and she was the daughter of one Lord Dalmas Rayburton. The Rayburtons were Cormyrean nobles. There's no reference to who her mother might have been, but from what you can tell, Alisanda has been alive for at least 500 years. Because as the Beret, they are immortal and undying. So presumably with the fall of Mesro, that's the last record of her. Was that like the other Bara, they were all destroyed when Mesro fell? But there is record going back as far as 500 years. The Dalmas Rayburton obviously is long gone. um,
That's what I was like, oh, maybe we have other family. No.
I mean, he could have descendants.
Well, sure.
Yeah, there isn't much about her personal information with your role, but you do know that she was granted special powers from Ubtao. It is said that she could regenerate health rapidly, she could detect evil, she could utter magical commands that will compel hearers into obedience. And she had improved physical and mental resistances as well as plenty of healing ability. Yeah. But that's about all you find with a 16.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, the just trying to. So the other place that we saw in our visions was the red dragon with the symbol of its neck. Yeah, that's where I want to look into that one too. Whether that's like whether it seems to be the same red dragon as the one that's the what took over the Harakmar fort, right? Yeah. So that's what I'd look into is.
It has a name.
Tinder.
I know, it's a cinder or something, right?
Tinder. Well, that's
Tinder.
Damn it.
Close.
Zindalora is the actual name, but Tinder is what people call her as well.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll not getting anything on the golden dino, so I'll look into one of the other ones.
Sure.
House Karanok.
Okay. Archie, there's no information on Tinder.
Nothing.
To the best of your knowledge, best of your ability, there's nothing there.
All right.
Not anymore.
House Karanok, nothing. There's nothing, no reference you can find in this library to House Karanok.
Could have been destroyed.
Yeah, I was just saying it's
Yeah.
There isn't anymore.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. And then I think the last one is the Skull Chalice. Just see if there's any other information or references or a picture, so we know what we're looking for or anything.
Sure.
I would be back for looking for more information on Alisande.
Yep.
Damn.
No, nothing you didn't already find.
Oh, come on. It was on a 20 for so long.
Yeah, the Skull Chalice. Yeah, there's some writing on it. The Skull Chalice of Chikagare is a legendary artifact used as a symbol of office by the rulers of Omu and Chult. It is said that only the royal bloodline of Chult could drink from the cup and survive. There is some information. You got 21, so you do know that it looks like a golden chalice crafted in the shape of a skull wearing a crown. According to your research, it's probably worth an estimated 2,500 gold pieces, but some large collectors may offer much more than that. The skull is repeatedly used from an ancient king of Omu that was constructed by, an ancient king of Omu that was beheaded by the hero Chikagare, who, according to this legend, rode a golden mastodon out of the 9 hells after being slain in battle, and chopped the tyrant's head off, and then crafted the skull from the head, and therefore solidifying the next royal line of Omu that would use this basically as a badge of office. The last known location of the Skull Chalice of Chikagare is the ancient city of Omu before its fall.
You know, for some reason, I didn't expect it to be like an actual skull, like a real one from something.
Well, it's been covered in gold, so it's it's fine.
Sanitary.
I mean, bone itself would be sanitary.
Oh, I believe I even have a picture of it. I can show you.
Sweet.
Artist rendition.
Oh. All right. Cool. 1, 2, 3.
That's like what a really, really wealthy goth would drink out of.
6. Okay, so that's 6. Yes, I probably have one more chance to do the Golden Dino again. Just throw out there. I've got everything else I sort of was looking into.
Same thing. Looking for my mom.
In 3 days.
Double 19s.
Yeah,
Hey,
there you go.
there's no Golden Dino in this library that you can see.
And now you're sure.
You're confident that you've exhausted all avenues of research on that.
Well, the thing is
here.
it was a very vague sort of thing. Like, I'm looking for like dinosaur legends and like it's a vague thing. So it makes sense it would take a while to decide. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, and Aelin, as far as Alessandra goes, outside of the information you already found, yeah, you would find slightly more information. You would find that her mother was a Tabaxi woman from Chult. Father was Dalmas Rayburton, so technically she's half Chultan. There's not a lot of personal information on her, but you do know that there is some information that in there suggests that she at one point anyways, or actually several points in her life, left Chult to travel in and around Faerun, including going back to her father's homeland of Cormyr for a time. And there's some rumors that she may have several children. There's rumors of 2 sons and a daughter being born of her, but there's no references anywhere that you can find about who those might be at all. But this would have been prior to the spell plague, so this would have been hundreds of years ago, and that's the last reference to her since Mithril fell, and she hasn't been seen since. So if you potentially, what that would mean for you guys would be there might be now long dead siblings technically that you might have, or half siblings, or because there was some references that she might have had some children, but that's not even confirmed, and there's no names or exact dates, but it is known she did leave Chult at several different points in her life before Mithril fell. So that's about it.
Cool. Okay.
All right. So
take up no more of your time.
My brain hurts.
Books are stupid.
Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, your downtime will be over, and we can then you guys can do whatever you're gonna do next.
Cool.
I think, just for your sake, I think portals might be the next step. Is sending Al through just to see what we see.
Right portal.
Okay, let's take a quick break. I will be back in like 15.
Sounds good.